Welcome to the shit show. Every single day, a new flavor of fuckery. Cause everybody sucks, you see, and they're dumber than a bag of clots. Monday, bullshit. Tuesday, bullshit. Wednesday, what the fuck? And then 4 more days of increasingly stupid, ridiculous, ignorant, balderdash.
Meow meow to everyone. Sorry, I'm still sick. I coughed up a hairball there. Sorry. Anywho, my partner in crime for the complaining about the news will be here shortly, hopefully. What is today? It's Friday? Okay. Shit. It's Friday already. God dang it. I thought today was Thursday, I'm not gonna lie. Let's see. Where should I start? I kind of want to have like a soft start to things, kind of work up to all the craziness. Yeah, it's hard to because all of it's crazy. Let's start. Let's just jump right in. So, Fox News reporter asked White House who gets a call after 8 p.m. if a nuke is launched at the U.S. I'm assuming he is giving this woman all kinds of shit. And fuck, that's hilarious. The White House was pressed Tuesday about whom the Pentagon would contact if a nuclear missile was fired toward the U.S. after 8 p.m., which is when President Biden has said he needs to call it a day. That's messed up. Last week, Biden told Democrat governors during a private meeting at the White House that he would stop scheduling events after 8 p.m. so he can get more sleep. Okay. At a press briefing Tuesday, Fox reporter Peter Doocy pressed White House Press Secretary Karen Pierre about President's mental health and being at his sharpest before 8 p.m. Well, he also says he's sharpest before 8 p.m. So say that the Pentagon at some point picks up an incoming nuke and it's 11 p.m. Who do you call? The First Lady? This guy can't be real. Like, don't get me wrong, I love this guy. Like, he is fucking hilarious. I just don't know if he's a plant. Like, if he's a controlled, like, person talking shit. And I say this because they don't want anyone who rabble-rouses too much. I've seen reporters being dragged out of places because they were asking the hard-hitting questions. So I don't know how he gets away with doing it. Like, I hope he's legit. I really hope he is legit because fuck the shit that comes out of this man's mouth is generally hilarious. So I actually like this guy. So if he's not for real, then I like his character. Let's see. Oh, hello, Daniel and Nightbreeze. She kind of has it coming. She does. She's a different. I don't say she's worse than that redheaded woman, but I think they're like both bad. But like, Bob, shut up. Sorry, Bob likes to interrupt. The dog is home and fed and watered. Fabulous. Ready to hear about the news. You do realize I sent you a link, correct? Silly thing. I thought I sent you a link. Did I not send you a link? Son of a bitch. I might not have sent you a link, actually. We could check. Like, did I? I thought I did. We go look. Oh, I forgot. I'm still sharing this. Not everybody's business. My bad. Hold up. Nothing bad, of course, but there we go. I think I saw that picture that we were going to discuss, and I was like, oh, and I sent that to you, and I forgot to send the link too. I'm stupid. I'm so sorry. Biscuits. Okay. There we go. All right. Now I sent the link. I'm so sorry. I sent him a picture, and I'll show y'all. But when we get to that part of the news, I'll show you what I sent. But like, oof. Anyway, but yeah, this guy is funny. Like, I'm sure there's got to be a compilation somewhere on YouTube of like the funny shit he has said because he like roasts them, and it's great. Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all good. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad to be here. Sorry that I didn't see it earlier this morning.
That was my
Thank you
bad
for
because I
having
sent
me
you that
on.
picture. I forgot to send the link though.
That's all good. It's something I would have done myself, but
I think you might have at one point.
I probably have. Yeah, I don't.
I think I
If I
remember
haven't,
like someone
I'm
I was
sure I'll.
listening to
Yeah.
someone's live stream and they
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. I don't doubt that that's true, but I appreciate you for having me on.
Heck yeah.
Great days. Well, I'm glad to be on because it just was kind of a rough-ish day, and I was kind of feeling down. And now it's like I'm on here with Moira Kitty, sharing all the crappy news, and hopefully I can assist you in some way. So,
well,
what can
right
I
now
do?
I know you sound better than me than normal because I already sound I sound rough.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I got a head cold. My head feels like a pillow. Like
oh crap.
I know, but hugs, Burr. Hello.
Hello, humans and other critters.
I love how inclusive he is. Back to the humans. Yeah, so I was just reading the news. No, the Fox News reporter asked the White House who gets the call after 8 p.m. Because apparently Biden was telling people in a private meeting that he's not scheduling meetings after 8 p.m. so he can get more sleep.
So
apparently the reporter's like, so if a nuke's coming in and say 11 o'clock, can we just call the first lady? I'm like, God damn.
Okay, so I probably shouldn't even bring this up because I know that sometimes I bring up too many things, but I'll just make it quick. One of the things that irritates me about that is because back in the day when Ronald Reagan was asleep at 2 a.m. because of some crisis, everybody hopped up and down. It was like, oh my gosh, he's too old, he's demented. But now we're talking 8 o'clock. But that's okay. Okay.
Right? And technically, one could argue that, I'm sure it's fairly common that if something serious is happening, they will call and wake him up.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, the guy is not. He wants to be sharp, and so that's why he's wanting more sleep. Dude, he's going to need a straight coma to be sharper.
If we had a media that was not disingenuous, there would be Saturday Night Live spoofs about this, like there was for Reagan, and it was funny.
Reagan and Ford. Mm-hmm. Bush, both of them, though they got dragged across the coals, but they kind of had it coming, though. They really did.
Well, they did, and even Reagan, who I have a little soft spot in my heart, he still did some really kind of crazy shit. So
he did. I used to think that Reagan was okay until I found out more about him. Then I'm like, ew, no.
Yeah, my opinion of him is kind of tottering on the edge of a cliff. But
no, mine was pretty much went and gone. I mean, don't get me wrong, his speeches are fabulous. I have one or two 100%. On one of my folders on my YouTube playlist. So like, I mean, the man can make a good speech. Don't get me wrong, but
well, to me, you have Reagan and Obama on opposite ends of the polls. They both say the right things to their constituents at any rate, but then they do things that I don't know.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, Night Breeze. Either that or I sound this like I have a cold all the time, which is also possible. But I don't know. I mean, you say that Reagan and Obama are on opposite sides of the pole. I don't know. They both gave weapons to Al Qaeda.
Yeah, not wrong. Not wrong. It's well pointed out.
I'm like, Reagan gave them to one, and Obama gave it to their kids or grandkids if they grew up. So
it seems like almost every president has given arms to some crazy group or other.
Right? I saw a TikTok somewhere where like they were making fun of the fact they kept arming. Actually, I may have saved that TikTok because I found some really good TikToks in the last 24 hours. Like I'm gonna have to share that. I know, right? I'm gonna have to share that with y'all. I just have to remember to because my brain goes all over the place like ADHD. So I will try. All right.
I've been trying to be more zen lately.
I can't be zen. I've tried. I'm just not that person. I'm more zen than I used to be.
More zen is better than no zen at all. So, I
Indeed.
guess. I don't know.
Anyway, let's make sure these aren't copies because they're okay. So sometimes I do that. So
My favorite person.
I know. We're sarcastic. We're just being sarcastic. MAGA Oklahoma official hire, and this is Ryan Walters for those who don't know, hires Project 2025 mastermind to write state history standards. Oh, Jesus. Man, I wish I had a skit from Family Guy queued for this. God help me.
Right on.
You remember the one where Lois wanted to run for like what was it? Was like not was it mayor for the town or
something like that? Yeah.
Or something? And she said that the school books were out of date, and somebody was like, "It's not that bad" or something like that. And she goes, They refer to the civil rights movement as trouble's a coming." I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, I feel like that's what's gonna happen here. Like it's gonna be rewritten like that. I'm like, oh Jesus, man. Oh no. Ryan Walters, the controversial far-right Oklahoma educator chief, has put together a team to rewrite schools' history standards. You know what I'm seeing? I'm sorry. I'm seeing this part.
Yeah. The controversial
schools' history. That's what I see when I see this. Not just the standards. Because in my opinion, that would be increasing the learning.
Yeah.
Not censoring the things that make you uncomfortable. Now, I understand having things that are age appropriate. Like, like you're in first grade, I don't expect people to know about massacres of the Native Americans in graphic detail. Like, obviously, children. But
at least wait till second grade. So,
right.
I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing.
Right. And I was in first grade because that was the 80s. In first grade, I was, they gave us like little school papers to do. Like you fill out your and there's like a little thing at the top, like a little scene. You got to color it, and it's like a little Native American, a little pilgrim, shaky hands and shit, because it was like Thanksgiving. So obviously, you're gonna make it cute, but like when you get older, like you can start easing the truth in there. But these guys would absolutely not have it. Like if you've ever seen, and I know people are probably like, "Oh, you're ragging on the Republicans." I am Republican. The Republicans, a lot of the ones that are in charge, not necessarily the regular voter people, but like us, but like the ones that are in charge, they're going for extremisms. They're pandering so hard to the extreme stuff, and they're missing a lot of other things.
And maybe in some cases that may be exaggerated, and I'm not saying you are, but in a lot of cases, it is true. Now, I will say, on the devil's advocate side, I saw,
as I try to say, he doesn't need an advocate.
well, true. But some friends of mine shared a placard of Project 2025, and I really need to do more research about it. I know you had talked about it, but unfortunately that day I got a call from my sister, and so I was kind of half out of it. But
I get that. That's fair.
But a lot of the things that I saw on the particular placard, not your stream, but the placard, were really like bafflingly exaggerated. And I don't say that as a hardcore vote for Trump Republican. It was just anyway. But yeah, there definitely are people, and I would say Walters is probably one of them. Certainly one of them.
I feel like sometimes if people pick one or two topics and take it as extreme and work it as hard as they can, they end up overdoing it. They overshoot their mark. Like 100%. When he first started, his for the office he's in now, his thing was that he was going to make sure there was not any race baiting in the schools, which I think it really depends on who's teaching it, whether there's a difference between history and race baiting. But and to get inappropriate like sexual content out of like the school libraries that the kids could have access to, and that's fair. That's fair. Like kids don't need to know about giving head when they're like in third grade. Like you don't need to know that shit. Hell, that's not even something I'd think a 16-year-old should be reading at the school.
And frankly, they're more likely to learn it from watching movies anyway. So,
Exactly. But the school certainly doesn't want to be a party to that, and I can understand it. But then once that was kind of done, then it started going further and further. And I'm like, okay, now the leftists are correct. They weren't before, but now they're correct. Now it's coming through.
Yeah.
And it's like, yikes. And it feels so weird to say that the leftists were right about something. It's a very fucking weird feeling.
Well, that's why we
if we don't
together
see the problem, how are we going to ever stop it?
Exactly. We have to be. It was part of my last stream. If you can't see it in your side, I guarantee you can see it in the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also going to guarantee you that if you can see it in the other side sees it in you.
Yep.
And we have to be honest about where the things are. So,
and this I find upsetting. Project 2025's group 900-page blueprint.
Ooh.
First off, I think that's longer than War and Peace. I don't know.
No, I not to brag. I've read it. It's
damn.
Yeah, it's long. But go ahead.
Oh, it's almost a phone book though. I know I thought it old when I said that. That's almost a phone book though. Think about it. There's times when there's a 200 or 300 page bit of legislation, and half the time nobody reads the whole thing before passing it.
Exactly.
So how many of these people are going to actually sit down and read 900 pages of this to give this a fair and balanced whatever? That's probably not going to happen.
Well, and let's face it, that exaggerated placard that I talked about. Who the hell knows if you gloss over that 900-page thing, maybe you can find that in there. I don't know, because
my ADHD, I'd have to read it in segments, man. I couldn't sit down for 900 pages.
Yeah, I'm not going to read 900 pages of anything like that.
We read articles my brain wants to jump from one thing to another. That's why my life is the way it is, because my brain works that way.
Neurodivergence unite.
Woo!
Sorry.
Dyslexics untie.
I don't get it. No, I'm teasing.
Maybe sounds like, wait, what? Blueprint for the next Republican president outlines a strategy to replace the entire federal service with GOP loyalists and enact a sweeping right-wing vision that includes codifying Christian nationalism into law and sharp scaling back everything from Social Security to Medicare to military family benefits. Well, I would love to see how the Republicans... hold on.
You're fine.
Stocks! She's just going to scream at me if I let her out. Hold on.
That's okay. Yeah, I would be interested in knowing what the actual language is on some of that, because, the exaggeration that I'm claiming, for all I know, it may be right there. And it might explain a lot of it. So I was just filling the silence. That's all.
Oh, that's fine. Sorry.
We were talking about you behind your back.
No, not at all. I'm just saying, once Socks gets started, she wants out. She will yell at me. She yelled at me the other day because she had a lower meow. And I was like, be quiet. And she walks right up to the door and starts like louder. I'm like, Jesus. I didn't know she could actually fuss that loud. I'm like, yikes. So I know she will only get louder if I don't do it right now. Unfortunately, she has me trained. There's nothing I can do.
No, I hear you. My dog largely has me trained. Go ahead.
Sorry. President Joe Biden has hammered former President Donald Trump over the unpopular aspects of Project 2025 agenda on the campaign trail. I haven't seen much of that yet. Doesn't mean he hasn't. I don't know. I just don't think he's got the brain to span to handle that. Trump has recently begun distancing himself from the proposal, falsely claiming he doesn't have anything to do with it. Sorry. And I think we mentioned that in the last time that he had said that he had nothing to do with it, even though there was like him with people that did it, that wrote it. And so I don't know why they're acting like this. This makes me more and more worried. And then hold on. Ooh, here. And then I saw this and I was like, holy shit. So let's blow it up a little bit, make sure everybody else can hear it. or see it, sorry. And so someone posted, this is who Ryan Walters wants to put in charge of the textbooks. So let's make everybody can see this.
This guy.
Prager, there is no secular argument against adult incest. Brother and sister want to make love. What's your argument? That's that they're going to produce mentally retarded offspring. That's nonsense. It takes many generations of inbreeding. I don't think it takes many generations to do that. Maybe to get that Habsburg jaw that, that the fucking Hanovers had, maybe, but like not, Well, not Hanovers. Was it Hanovers or is it? It was something with an H name.
Yeah, it was one of those. Forgive me for having a senior moment.
It was Habsburgs, I guess. Yeah.
Habsburgs, that's right.
Yeah, it was Habsburg jaw. I don't know why I fucked that up and said Hanovers.
No, you're fine.
Anyway, so they're worried about like what's being taught in school. So they want the guy who argues in favor of incest in charge of writing the school stuff. Like, okay, what? And this guy, man, no wonder he's arguing for incest because, like, that's a face only a mother could love. Oof.
Howdy at last call, Troy Picelli. We're being controversial today. Huzzah!
Meow, Troy, how are you? I cannot see anything right now because, like, hold on, let me go over here say hi to everybody.
Will it be okay if I drop his link in the chat?
Oh, heck yeah.
Because I know he's got a thing later on. I'm smart enough to do it.
Yes. Rat face Habsburg. Man, even rats don't have a chin like that. That dude looked like that moon creature from McDonald's movies. God dang. Woo! I think everybody's old enough to remember that. So, with the sunglasses and shit, playing that piano.
Right on.
Hugs. Oh, yeah. That sounds rough. But yeah, so the guy they want in charge. Oh my God. You know what? I need to figure out. I would love so much, and I don't think this will happen for me because I'm just not that lucky. I would love to find out what phone service he has. And
really
work there and be able to find a way to clone his phone because I've done that before because with my second husband, I forget what happened. I think he got caught driving without a license or something.
Oh boy.
He got put in jail. And so I figured I needed to find a way to get a hold of his work and let them know and this and that to, so that he didn't just like not answer their call. And I went and I asked if they could clone his phone to another phone I had so that way if his boss calls, I could be answering it. And they were able to do it. So I think it would be absolutely hilarious if I could clone his phone and see what calls he got, what messages being sent. Man, that would be the end of Ryan Walters. Cause
that's probably what we need if we're ever going to get some dirt on him. Because I know you and I have done our best in the legitimate ways,
right. And he's surrounded by way too many yes men to expect anybody to turn on him.
Yeah, last call, Troy Picelli's. Say what you want about family affairs. All I can say is I don't have a sister, but if I did, there's no way I'd want to do a girl who looks like me. Amen, Troy. I second that motion. Just like the guys from 1776. I second it.
I haven't seen that in years. Man, I saw pieces of it. I didn't even see a lot of it. My mom loved the fuck out of that show.
He played it on one of his later double features. It was so good. I've never seen it before. That. Never had.
I did see it mentioned. Yeah, let's rewind this a little bit. I won't have the sound on, of course, but everybody can read it.
And hello to Snortopupus Cuber. He is telling us that it is indeed the Habsburgs. So, and who's who of conservative influencer advocates? That includes the man behind PragerU.
And I just can't get past that feeling when someone's like, they're going to rewrite the history standards. and reshape social studies. I'm like, Jesus. So they're basically, yeah, they're gonna do this like overcorrection.
Yeah,
Man.
and hopefully I'm not speaking out of turn here, but I would actually I would actually trust Trump more than I would trust Walters on this.
I don't know. I mean,
I know,
it's hard to say. It's hard to say because he is such a what is that word I learned the other day? A psychopath.
Yeah,
Trump. He
yeah.
really is.
True that.
He would bruise his uvula on Trump if Trump asked. He absolutely would.
He is desperately trying to get that governor nomination, and I won't be surprised if he gets it.
Man, we got to do something about that guy before he does. We got to get him caught with what. We got to get him caught being gay.
I've done everything I know to do.
If he
I've
cheats
done
on his wife,
everything I know to do.
if he cheats on his wife, they'll probably forgive him. If he like touches a kid, they'll probably forgive him because that's been a lot of that going on. There was that one guy. Well, that doesn't narrow it down, but somebody in the last like 3 months got caught had been found out that he had like some inappropriate relationship touching on some girl back in the 80s or something. And the fucking Twitters were lighting up with these motherfuckers going, I know him. He's been the leader of our church for 20 years. And all this. And I'm like, oh, here it fucking goes. Here it starts. And they're like, that was a long time ago. And he's worked through his problems and he's asked the Lord to forgive him. I'm like, does that mean that the Lord forgave him, though? Like, y'all are quick to forgive him even before you know the Lord has. First off, calm down. Secondly, I feel like there's some things you should not forgive.
Yeah, or at least, yeah.
I miss the days when you just rang a bell and people yell shame at them. Fuck.
Yeah.
I mean,
woof. Make them walk around the town in stocks.
I would do that. I would. Like, ministers that got caught being fucking scandalous, they would have to walk around with, like, I don't know, something around their neck, like a scarlet bee for being an absolute bastard. I don't know. Or, like, you know, a KD for kid diddler, whatever the fuck, and have them walk around like it was a scarlet A, having to fucking, you know, admit their fucking shame. Or be like the lepers used to and ring a bell like, unclean, unclean. Something. Like,
yeah. Troy Pacelli, the Lord is pretty forgiving, but I don't forgive so easily or forget. Yes.
Amen.
Now, and to be fair, we really don't know enough about Walters, but we know enough to know that he's pretty
shady as fuck.
He's shady, and we have enough dirt that I thought it would be adequate, but it was not. And
you know what?
So
I'm so bold as to say something, and like I better not be sued because honestly I don't have anything for them to take. I have like one thing in my name that has any actual value. That's my car. The house I live in is not even in my name. Right. That's not even my reason. You know, I got reasons, but whatever. Anyway, so, like suing me won't get anyone far because he wants a car that is 14 years old. Whatever. Yeah. But I feel like there's something bad about him, and one of the reasons why, and I'll explain it. Let me try to think. My brain is wanting to like say 1,000 things at the same time, but let me think. Okay. You know how, like, any time in your life where you were dealing with somebody and they seemed like they were playing up to you a little too fucking much, and they were being just a little too nice, and you know you just couldn't put your. And then it turns out they were actually like telling your business to somebody else, and they were only pretending to be your friend.
Yeah, 100%.
Or like when someone cheats on you and they're being extra for no fucking reason, and then you find out why they're being extra because they're not being their normal. So they're trying to hide something, so they're doing too much.
Mm-hmm.
Or like people who hell and damnation and brimstone, and then you find out he's up there crying because he cheated on his wife and got a mistress pregnant.
Right on.
When people go this fucking hard, it tells me they've done something terrible. I hope to God he hasn't done it to a kid, but he's hiding something. He is so anti-gay, which, I mean, you don't necessarily have to be pro-gay either, but like, when people are so fucking extra on certain things, it gives you an idea of what it is about them they're hiding. Like when you have priests that are just fucking like, you're gonna rot in hell, and then it turns out they touched kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they go so fucking hard because they're trying to cover up something they have done.
Yeah.
And so when
and
he
often
goes this hard, it scares me because I'm wondering how many bodies are in his fucking basement.
And I know enough narcissists to know that the primary thing they're going to accuse you of is whatever they're doing.
Yes, it is. Because like there's a lot of people use the word homophobia incorrectly. It's technically that term just means you're afraid of gay people. I'm not afraid of gay people. Actually, I don't know.
I know some very nice, some very good and kind people in that crowd. So
same here. Like I don't even really think about it, unless someone does something to kind of stand out. People are just people to me.
Yeah, exactly.
If you put yourself on my radar, then I'm gonna be like, But other than that, as long as you ain't hurting nobody, it ain't my business. But he's so extra in what he does. And the more I see it, the more I'm like, oh my God, I wonder if he got like made his mistress get an abortion. You know what I'm saying? Because he's so. Have you noticed that people who like give you the dirtiest looks about smoking used to be smokers themselves, oftentimes, or they had another vice, like they drank and they quit, and somehow now to somehow make them, they want to distance themselves from what they have done, so they're going to focus on you.
Yeah.
And that is what he does. And like, don't get me wrong, I'm pro-life. I'm more pro-life.
100%. Yeah.
Actually more pro-life than they are, because they're very excited about the idea of executing people and putting in an express lane, even though a lot of people have been found to be innocent after many years and were released from death row. So, but they're so about it, and it's like, but I understand that there is once in a while a situation like an ectopic pregnancy or something happens where if you don't terminate now, both will be dead. I get that, but they don't seem to want to make room for that. And I hate the idea that either one will die. Absolutely, I think that's fucking terrible.
Do you know?
But when you leave the baby in there, and it basically,
it's going to die anyway.
It starts to break down. It's already dying. It's starting to break down. It will cause sepsis, and it will kill the mother.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I feel like we have to have some common sense. I understand wanting to make it to where women can't just lie to get an abortion. Like, I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get where they're coming from on that. But there's still a situation when someone is dying. For God's sakes, you have to do something. And making doctors afraid they're going to go to jail. And so he's so hardcore against abortion, which he's the fucking superintendent. It's none of his goddamn business, first off. But some of these guys that are going so extra hard about abortion makes me think they've at least talked their mistress or girlfriend into an abortion at least once.
Yeah.
Because I want to see them go this hard over people getting like testicular or breast exams to get for cancer. Like, I want to see them go this hard if they care about people's health this much. I want to see you go hard for everything.
That would be fantastic, actually.
Right? But no, they're not doing that. They're like, you better not kill a baby. I guarantee.
Well,
that's all those people, at least 2 or 3, have flown a mistress off to another state to get an abortion. I can guarantee
the easiest way to gather power, or maybe I shouldn't say the easiest, but one of the easiest ways is to, prop the straw man villain and convince the people that the best thing we can do is knock that down.
And with these types of arguments, if you are to speak up and say, well, what about this? Suddenly everybody feels it is their job to be like, no, and start henpecking you down. Like, why are you bringing this up? You're with us or you're against us. And so it becomes very tribalistic.
Yeah.
In that way.
It is.
Now, don't get me wrong. I think people who are pro-abortion, well, I mean, it's pro-choice, but I mean, some of them take it all the way to the extent of pro-abortion. Like, they look proud of it. Like, that's gross.
Yeah,
like,
I
understand
agree.
if you had a medical condition and something had to be done. Like, I get that. And, like, that's unfortunate. But people who hold their protest signs saying they enjoy their abortion, that's a fucking nasty bitch. Like, bitch, your cooter is haunted. That's a cemetery in there. It's not a cooter no more. That's a fucking cemetery at this point. Yuck, bitch, you. I'm sorry. But, I mean, if medical issues, and I'm not talking to the ladies out there who've had medical issues and it had to be done, I'm so sorry for your loss. Do not get me wrong.
100%.
But, I mean, I don't go around bragging I had, like, my wisdom teeth taken out. You know what I'm saying? It had to be done.
Right.
I don't fucking brag about it. I don't tell people how proud I am of it. sometimes a medical procedure is just something that needs to be done. But these people go so hard that their attitude, and I've seen it in action. I've watched the things they've said for years, and basically, if you end up in a situation where you could die, they almost treat you like, well, it was your fault for getting pregnant. And then, but even if and this happens to married women too, though. So is it her fault for laying with her husband? Like, come on now. Like, I thought that's what we were supposed to do.
Snortopupus Burr is talking about how that sounds like a great name for a movie. Yes.
That's why. That's gonna be like what is it? It's like that Blood on the Highway is supposed to scare people from driving badly. It'd be
sounds like a good Roger Corman movie. It needs to be out there.
Plan B from
Rest
outer
in
space.
peace, Roger Corman. Rest in
Yeah,
peace.
Plan B from outer space.
You got it. You got it.
Love it.
That's a great movie.
I have not seen Plan 9 from outer space. I have not seen it. I've seen.
If you see it, watch the riff tracks of it, because that's the way you can get through it and not just be disgusted. It's so bad, but it's so funny when they riff it.
This is acting up again. There we go. All right. So, yeah, he's planning to do a social studies overhaul, which means
we shall indoctrinate your children.
Yep. Because remember, all right, so we're all aware that, the history books have been changed over many years. Lots of things are left out. A lot of times we're learning about stuff in our 40s that we should have learned in our 20s, but it wasn't available to us to learn.
Yeah, 100%.
So this is how, what you're seeing right here is exactly how this happens. That's exactly how the history books get rewritten. And if you're going to rewrite it, it better be written correctly. But that's not what they're trying to do.
Or at least do your dangdest to write it correctly. I know everyone makes mistakes, but geez, come on.
Do the best that you can, of course. And so, moments like this where they're trying to rewrite things, that concerns me. And I don't care which party does it.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Because they're all out to lie to you anyway.
I hop up and down when Democrats do it, but we absolutely can't be doing it as Republicans. And Troy Pacelli is saying that movie sounds like a good sequel to I Spit on Your Grave, the Hawktua edition, which...
Oh, my God.
Anyway.
Damn.
Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Sometimes I don't always
I think you did.
Pronunciations of things.
I think you said it just fine. So that makes me worry. Because remember back in October and November, there was rumors going around that there was space lasers, and Israel's like, we don't have space lasers. And then a small little thing came out, and they kind of admitted it, but it kind of got brushed under the rug. I'm wondering if it had something to do with it.
I actually saw that, and I thought about bringing it up to you, and then I was like, no, because but anyway, go ahead. Let's delve into this right now. So
indeed. Oh, excuse me. Israel Aerospace, huh?
Oh, you go ahead. I'm so sorry.
Oh, sorry. Oh, my head. I'm trying to get
it's your stream.
Sorry. Israel Aerospace announces $1 billion deal with unnamed third party.
$1 billion.
But I did put my pinky up to the side of my mouth. I did. But what an unnamed third party? God, I imagine it's probably us.
So do they have death ray lasers?
Got freaking laser beads on their forehead, or freaking laser beads on their heads. I think that's what it was. It's been a while since I've seen that, but God, it does give me that feeling. Jeez. I swear, if you live in the Pelican Brief, Idiocracy, and a little bit of Austin Powers.
Yes.
God help me. What a combination.
Yeah.
You want to go for it?
As you wish. It's your stream. You go for it.
Oh, okay. I thought you might read it. Okay.
I can read it. I just want to be helpful.
Well, go ahead. All right. I'll let you, because I sound rough. I sound like
I'm fine. You're 100% fine. I'll give you a break. Israel Aerospace Industries has entered $1 billion contract to supply one of its systems to an unnamed third party. It can't be Dr. Evil. The state-owned defense contractor said on Tuesday, IAI, which makes some of Israel's most advanced drones and missile defense systems, said in a regulatory filing in Tel Aviv that the deal is expected to reach about $1 billion and be carried out over 5 years. It will produce and supply a system to a third party, I said.
Now let's
Okay.
break this down for a second. So
Yes.
apparently, for the last 9-10 months, we have been sending Israel shit tons of bombs and weapons. If they're making their own weapons, why are we sending them weapons and bombs? Exactly. Why are we sending them missiles and bombs if they can make their own fucking shit?
They have $1 billion to give away.
And more than that, I'm sure. We've sent more than that in a month.
I wish I had $1 billion to give away.
And because I've actually thought about this, not this particular article, but for a while now, we kept sending them weapons. And I'm like, wait a minute. But aren't there weapons that they make? They make guns and weapons and stuff over there. Because I know there's some like it's not H&K, but it's something else that like Israeli handguns they make. I know there are, and I hadn't heard about them in fucking 20 years, but I know they. I was like, that's weird. Why do they just not have? No, they have an entire aerospace industry where they make these kinds of weapons, and yet we're sending our bombs to them to use. Like, if you're going to genocide a bunch of people, I'd rather you like not use our tax dollars to do it. It makes me feel dirty.
Right, 100%.
I mean, our taxes are going to pay for you to kill somebody who's never done anything to me personally. Like, I don't know them. They don't know anybody I know.
Yeah,
I've met, as far as I know of, and because I don't go around asking people where they're from, like that, not like that. I've only met one person who's Palestinian in my life.
Okay.
Maybe two, because I met another guy who was Arab as well, but I didn't ask him where he was from because
Right.
it didn't come up.
Right.
But
On.
like to my knowledge, I've only met one Palestinian, and he was a little bit of an odd guy. My mom didn't like him. She kind of called the FBI on him. She did. She does not like Arab people. If she didn't,
Oh my!
I was like 18. I was horrified. I heard him once again. One time he called me and said that his house his apartment got raided, and I'm thinking, holy fuck! Like, how'd she even like? Damn! Like, my mom was dangerous. God damn!
Don't piss off Moira's mother. Got it.
Well, she passed away in 2012.
Sorry for
Thank
that.
you. But god dang, though, I was like 18. All right, so this was like in 1999. This happened. And I have never heard from that guy since. I'm like, oh my God, because he said that his bosses were pissed that his apartment got raided. And he said he'd try to call me later, and I never heard from him again. I thought, oh shit, because his bosses, and okay, this does not help the stereotype, it really doesn't. But he was transporting stuff, and it looked like he told me there were vitamins, but they were very long names on these vitamin bottles.
Oh Lord.
So I don't know what they were. I was 18, so I didn't know what the fuck that. I didn't know anything. So I don't know what it was, but he had a lot of them. A lot of vitamins. But maybe, I don't know, maybe he had a pyramid scheme.
I mean, it could have been. It could have been.
Were mad that he got raided, so that concerns me. So I low-key think my mom got him killed a little bit. Like, that kind of sucks.
Well, I did read a New Yorker article because there was a time when I actually did kind of vaguely keep up with stuff. And I read a New Yorker article back in the mid-90s about there were a lot. They had evidence. They did a better job of producing evidence than I do anyway, that there were mules and things like that from the Middle East that were funding terrorism by smuggling in some cases fairly legitimate things, but often it would be, drugs or cigarettes or contraband stuff.
These pills could have been part of the manufacturing process.
Yeah, I'm not. I have no idea. Hopefully, I'm not abusing this person's. I don't need hateful, angry phone calls from anybody, right. But.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to say theoretically it's impossible because I don't know what that was. I mean, hell, it could have just been like glucosamine sulfate or some fucking shit. Like, I don't know. Like, it could have just some long ass word. Like, I don't remember even what it started with. I just remember it had like 11 letters. I was like, God dang, that's a big word. I don't know what that is. But I didn't want him to catch me looking in the box, so I didn't say that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not that stupid. I'm not that dumb. I was like, yeah, he kept me looking. Come on now.
Howdy, Frosty B. Rocks Insights. How are you doing today?
Yeah, Frosty. How are you?
You do
Right.
that better than I do, so I'll let you do that.
Freaking laser beams. I can't quite do that.
Laser
I'm closer
beam.
than I should be for being a girl. Especially my voice so rough right now. Oh.
So what is there any more in that article or never
Oh,
mind.
it does
So
not. I don't know. Let me get down there.
basically they have $1 billion to give to random organizations to build random weapons.
And it's weird
Wonderful.
because they already have this like industry. Like they have this like little manufacturing fucking thing right here. They're gonna work with an unnamed third party, which probably means us. It's probably
Yeah.
us. If you think the U.S. is going to let it be edged out in a weapons thing, absolutely not. It's us. Our tax dollars are going to this fucking deal. They just don't want to tell us. That's probably what they were buying into part of the time. Sending money over there was part of this deal. I'm almost certain of it. Because what are you giving them money for if you're already sending them a shit ton of weapons?
Yeah.
Like if they're fighting a war, what do they need the money for? The same way with
Well, you'd think they'd need
Ukraine.
to be spending it on the
Ukraine,
war.
the same thing. Like why do they need money if they're fighting a war like that? Like that much money, I mean. I doubt they're paying their soldiers very well.
Yeah. And they really 100%.
So we have no business sending them bombs anyway. And if they have a way of manufacturing their own, it seems even weirder that we'd be sending ours. And who are they? And if they need weapons so bad, why are they not using their own instead of sending them to other people? Like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
We're being money laundered and weapons laundered, I guess, in front of everybody. We're getting cucked, y'all, for real.
Well, we got to launder that money somehow.
I guess.
I know the Y-Files has a thing about a CIA money laundering scheme that I need to watch one of these days.
Oh yeah, that's a heck of a thing. I love Wi-Files. I love that hecklefish.
Oh my gosh, that's what I should have done years ago. But anyway.
Oh, and apparently there was a Supreme Court justice. Apparently, like I guess they thought this person was endangered, and their security detail shot somebody.
What?
Yep. So let us.
Oh, their security shot an armed man near her home. Which justice is this, or do they say?
I don't know yet. Which is weird because he already had the weapon drawn and aimed at him. How the hell did he manage that? 18. All right. So it's identified as Kentrell Flowers, 18, 4 times, including on his mouth.
Wow. Snortopupus and Troy are saying that it is Sotomayor. I do not know.
Okay.
But that's what they're saying.
I thought I saw her picture near that article, but I wasn't sure.
So was Kentrell Flowers the one that was shot?
Yes.
The Heritage Foundation president just made terroristic.
Sorry, my TikTok decided it was going to unfreeze itself.
Of course.
That's part of the presentation. I'll get to it. But yeah, it's funny because she's like against the Second Amendment, but like her security detailing, like, okay. That's one of those things where like you don't get to tell me I can't have a gun if you have armed guards protecting you all the time.
Well, it's okay for her to have guards with guns, but it's not okay for you to have one for your protection.
She can go fuck herself. But I think it's wild because why would an 18-year-old do this? And like, let's think about this. This is kind of wild that he just like he's up at the car, has his gun already drawn and aimed, and you manage to pull your weapon and shoot him without him getting shooting a round off. Like that's weird. Like I don't know. I don't know how it played out. He might have looked scared. They realized he was hesitating. They could do it. I don't know, but it still sounds wild to me personally. But
yeah, anyway. I'd need to know more details, but
for real.
But yeah, the principle I think is at least partially valid. I'm sure my liberal friends would be, "Oh, you're just full of crap," but I think it's fair. I mean, why do they get to have guns and we don't?
Because they figure their lives are more important than ours. Is really what it is.
Yep, that's what it is.
And honestly, like, what would an 18-year-old be doing? I mean, maybe he thought he was gonna like carjack them. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he didn't realize who she was. Like maybe he didn't realize who they were. Because who the hell's gonna go up and try to like point a gun at U.S. Marshals unless I don't know. I feel like 18 is almost too young to have a vendetta like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
So
I can't imagine it being a vendetta. Maybe it was more just a kid being stupid, but
a kid being stupid, or someone sent this kid to do it without kid knowing what he was getting into.
yeah, that's possible too. Who
Maybe,
knows?
I mean, if you want to see how someone's security detail is, pay some poor kid to like, hey, go up there and do this. I'll pay you like $5,000 to go up and do this. You know.
And howdy, Kronos and Mikey Susie 4. Thank you for joining us.
Hello.
Moira is on here sharing the effing news.
Yeah.
All the news you can lose.
Now this I thought was like weird. Like why would someone title it this way? Like what the fuck? Like that's weird. All right, so y'all remember? All right, so like there was this thing going on, and it still kind of is, but it's getting buried by other things being to distract people. But Kate Middleton, Princess Kate,
Yeah.
like she had been gone out of everybody's view since like around Christmas time, and then she was gone, and nobody knew where she was, and everybody's like, and then she was like, oh, yeah, she's in the hospital having stomach surgery because of some kind of cancer thing, and then supposedly she was like released from the hospital, but people have been paparazzi have been camped out all over the place waiting to see her, and they never saw her leave the hospital.
Oh yeah.
And so
Go
then
ahead.
they had someone who was supposed to be supposedly a friend of Kate's, sarcastic finger quotes, and she looks so much like Princess Kate. I mean, so much like her, like it's her doppelganger. And they felt like, oh, this is to try to distract people and make it. And so, like, you know, suddenly you were like from a distance, you were kind of seeing her out and about, like it dressed like Princess Kate, but like the Mother's Day thing where it was supposed to be a picture of her and her kids. It was fucking photoshopped. The whole thing was photoshopped. People tore it to pieces. That it was so photoshopped, and they got so dragged for it that Windsor, the Crown, took it off their website. They got so hard. And they posted a weird opinion piece. What would happen if someone tried to charge the William for someone's murder if he was king? And I was like, that's a weird question to fucking ask, isn't it? His wife is missing. All these pictures of her are photoshopped, so it's not even her with her kids. They actually found like some of the source images of the Photoshop, and it was like from a magazine cover from like years ago, things like that. They were recycling old photos and touching them up. It was weird. And someone had posted an article asking what would the protocol be if he was charged for murder while on the throne. And I'm like, that's a weird fucking question to ask like that. That's weird. So that's why I feel like this is weird. Like this is how the news channels will look if, God forbid, Netanyahu's assassinated. That's a fucking weird thing to publish.
Yeah, it really is.
Like, yikes.
I mean, it's kind of something you would expect more from the National Enquirer or something like that.
At this point, all of it's about equal.
And Mikey Susie 4 says this is why we don't watch any more cable or regular TV news. They're all biased clicks.
Oh, it is a mess. He's right.
Is it okay if I patch his link into the chat?
Oh, pepper.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. The silence regarding the crazy incitement campaign against Prime Minister Netanyahu is deafening. It is a campaign that is conducted based on media's intentional blindness, the opposition's indifference. I don't think that many people are that indifferent. I think almost everybody's kind of taking a side dang near. And the legal advisor's apathy to the government. Is Benjamin Netanyahu in danger? Probably not, is what it says, but not necessarily because no one wants to harm him. Anyone who sees the hatred, the disgust, and the burning emotions in the protests against the prime minister can imagine easily what would happen if one of the protesters found themselves in his midst without security. So they sound like they're gearing up for something. They sound like they're already gearing up to blame a protester because a lot of people in his country are protesting against him. Oddly enough, he's got like both sides protesting against him. He's got the side who thinks he's done too much protesting, they want him out, and the side who thinks he hasn't done enough, they are protesting and want him out. So he's hated by both fucking sides.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough.
That's
so
the thing about Netanyahu. Yeah.
And right here, they're saying, what if one of those protesters ended up near him without his security? First off, why would one of his protesters be able to get near him without his security detail? That's a question I feel like we should ask. And why? And they seem to be ready to blame it on a protester. That's fucking weird. Is it not possible? The IDF, the Israeli Defense Force soldiers have gotten their ass kicked so decently on the ground level that one of their family members might be pissed that Netanyahu's let all this go on for so long that they blame him for the death of their family member. Like, why is that not a possibility? We're going to assume this is a way they are conditioning us to accept the idea that a protester might do something, or they'll blame it on the protester because it's so much easier that way. Because people have strong feelings on both sides about protesters, for and against Israel, and so I feel like they're kind of soft launching this a little bit, and it may even be a setup. He may have it set up in such a way that it would look like an assassination attempt, but he's actually not in danger at all. So that way, it would give an excuse, a Rashtag fire kind of excuse to do something he would not have otherwise been able to get away with. So I just want to say that, yeah. Yeah. Hello. Oh, I guess he got a phone call. What in the biscuits? Kinky little thing.
I don't understand.
Why?
Sorry, I have friends, and every now and then they call. I mean, that is awesome. I'd have actually loved to have talked to the guy, but he probably didn't realize I was on
Oops.
stream, which is okay.
Right. But yeah, I'm very concerned that they're basically conditioning this idea. Because, all right, so here's the thing. He doesn't like the people who everybody's protesting against him over there. Almost everybody is. The people who think he hasn't done enough, although I really feel like leveling almost all of Gaza is a lot. But okay. But they feel like, oh, you need to leave because you didn't do enough. And the other side wants him gone because he's done too much. And so with that going on, and he's actually had protesters before October happened. Actually, they had been spending the whole 2023 trying to get him out. They actually were. So much has happened that a lot of people don't remember this was happening before the war started.
And
but there was a bunch of protests against him. They were already trying to get him removed from power long before October happened.
Right.
And
take care, Troy Pacelli. I know you'll have a great stream later. So.
Pepper. But so he's already had a vendetta, and it was against the protesters for one reason or another. And so if he is soft launching the idea of making it look like a false flag attack, where he looks like he's being attacked by a protester, but it's actually a patsy, just so they can have them, he'll have an excuse to throw more protesters in jail. He will win sympathy votes and the public opinion to encourage him to be able to stay in power.
And probably more money from the United States.
Oh, absolutely. And try to make it so that way, because he's been talked down on so bad. I mean, he's had it coming nonetheless. And so when people go, now if this happens, at least for a couple of months, people go like, how do you say that about him? Someone tried to kill him. He can ride those coattails for a little bit.
Oh, yeah. No one's more of a hero than a politician that someone tried to assassinate.
Exactly. It's the only way you can make yourself a martyr without actually getting killed.
Exactly.
And so I think that's what they're soft launching the idea of. They want that kind of put this. They're testing the waters, I think, to kind of see how it kind of. Yeah. Sometimes they warn you what they're going to do before they do it, but they do it in such a subtle way.
Well, that's like the disease that shall not be named. Back when I was still listening to a bunch of right-wing people, they actually started talking about the possibility of something like that way back in, I want to say 2012,
I
2010.
Yeah, 'cause I think it might have been because I remember seeing you actually can look up, and somewhere in Google, you can look up patents, and you can actually find it
Yes.
for the coof, as we're supposed to say. And there's a 2015 patent on it.
Got you.
Done it years ago. I'm
Fantastic.
sure it can be Googled. If Google hasn't already gotten rid of it, they might have.
Well,
Anyway.
yeah.
So I feel like that was a very weird article they decided to drop right here. So I'm kind of like, I don't know. I don't know if they're trying to soft launch it or they're just saying it, talking about his security being really good to discourage anybody from actually legitimately trying. But it says Netanyahu has had security since the Rabin assassination. He encouraged Prime Minister Rabin to be killed.
Yeah.
He stood on the balcony where he was and incited all kinds of stuff, including having these people holding up signs making him Rabin look like a angry failed art student. They had him like photoshopped in that kind of
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get you.
You know how you like use a little marker and
Yes.
a little mini stash? Yeah.
Mhm.
Somebody did that with him and had people so wound up. Someone actually shot Prime Minister Rabin, and that got him because Rabin, Yasser Arafat, and somebody else were all in it trying to create a peace process, and there were people who didn't want that to happen. And Netanyahu is one of those. And one of the things that has made Netanyahu the way he is, I'm sure there was many, is his older brother got killed in 1960 something or other.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah, at that I think had quite an effect. His dad raised them to be
The way they are.
Racist Islamophobes, basically. And his brother getting killed because he had two brothers. I think the other brother is. I don't think
His other brother, Daryl. Sorry.
Yeah, I couldn't remember, but yeah. So I don't know if he's alive or not. They don't talk about him.
Gotcha.
But the brother died in 1967 or 66.
Oh,
I think.
wow.
I don't know. I think somebody will have to look it up.
Cronus says he never uses Google.
Yeah. Is there something over here that I wanted to check? I had already showed everybody that, so okay. Yeah. Anyway. All right. So let me see. Oh, we already did that. Okay. Oh, so this I thought was interesting because, why not? Mystery as Russian general linked to, I don't know how to pronounce that, but a Russian general has been found dead. Dun, dun, dun.
Shoigu has been found dead. Magomed Kandeyev.
No, it's a Russian general who was linked to Shogu.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Pardon my ignorance.
That's okay. I had to read it a couple of times to make sure I was right.
So Kandeyev, a Russian Defense Ministry official, has died unexpectedly at the age of 61. That's been going around in Russia quite a lot. Shoigu. Kandeyev had served as head of the State Examination Department of Russia's Defense Ministry since June of 2023. The cause of his death, or where he died, has not been disclosed. I could actually read this, but I wouldn't be able to translate it. Doesn't matter. Go on. I was just showing off a little bit.
Let's see if it'll let me do this.
You gotta try and translate it?
Yeah, it's not having it.
Yeah, sometimes it won't. The head of the Shumilsky district in Russia's Dagestan Republic, Magomed Gasanov, told TASS that Kandeyev's body had been flown to the city of Makhachkala and that he would be buried in his native village of Genta. Russian newspaper Kommersant reported that Kandeyev was a direct subordinate to former Deputy Defense Minister Timur Ivanov, who was arrested on corruption charges in April.
So Yeah, so either he was killed or he offed himself to not get arrested and face charges too, probably.
Gotcha. Number of high-ranking military officials have been arrested since April, including Yuri Kuznetsov, the head of the Russia's Defense Ministry's personnel department. Meanwhile, Sergei how did he have it pronounced? Shoigu was replaced as defense minister after holding the position for 12 years in a surprise shakeup of the department. And
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it sounds like if his buddy got arrested for corruption charges in April, there's a good chance that he either didn't want to face whatever was coming and offed himself, or they did it to him.
Yeah, who knows?
I mean, why else would they not want to tell details? It was just a normal death. They'd be like, oh, he died of cancer he'd been battling for a while, and he was surrounded by his family. Yeah,
he
it wasn't none of that.
unfortunately fell from airplane.
Yes, he accidentally fell off balcony. Terrible tragedy.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I'm also going to leave a thing in the chat for people to look up Netanyahu's brother if they just feel interested in that.
Right. Yeah, I feel like it was like the 1967 thing that was going on.
Yes. According to Wikipedia, you're 100% correct.
I think it was somewhere around that time because I think there was like, I guess it was like a hostage situation. He was supposedly gone in there and like whatever was going on, and he got hit is what I think.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that had a very big impact on him.
Oh yeah, no, and you know, I'll be fair. I can understand that making you a little, you know, like 9/11 made me a little not happy about certain people. But one, I've since learned that we,
right.
You know, there may have been more to the story, and two, there are branches. They're not all the same. So.
Exactly. But yeah, because the media definitely didn't tell us way back then there was thousands and thousands of Muslims who were protesting against what Al Qaeda had done. Like They didn't want to share that part with us.
Yeah, that never gets reported.
But no, it doesn't. The Knesset Constitution Committee began on Tuesday to prepare a bill for its first reading that members of the opposition claim were part of the government's controversial 2023 judicial reform. I wonder if they're going to be discussing how Netanyahu was stripping powers from their Supreme Court last summer before this war started.
I doubt it, but that would be a good thing to do, I think.
Yeah, because I did a live stream back in August. Like, y'all, I think something's up because nobody does this unless they plan on doing something terrible. So, like, if I had access to, like, information or had a platform where somebody might have actually heard it that could have done something, who knows? This war could have been prevented somewhat. Because this was their goal in the first place. They wanted to create this much devastation and clear that land to build condominiums and everything. So they wanted to do this.
It's all a money grab.
Sounds about oil right. And money. The amount of money they have found off the coast of Palestine in like some kind, I guess it's like underground, like underwater, like reserves of gas is in the billions. It's in the billions.
I believe it.
And before they even got to Rafah, they were already selling off oil claims to who is it? I don't think it's Shell. It might be. It's one of the big fucking gas companies. Well, a couple of them. I was flabbergasted. I shouldn't have been, but I was. My flabber had been gasted.
No.
The bill proposed to change the process to elect an
ombudsman, I think. Is how
I don't know what that is.
It's I can't remember exactly, but it's a kind of a certain kind of a court official. I used to actually know, but I don't remember anymore.
Yeah, it's more than I've got. For the Israeli court system. Yeah, I guess so. According to the current law, the appointment is a joint agreement between Justice Minister and the Supreme Court Chief Justice and is approved by the Judicial Selection Committee. The new law would shift that power to the Knesset and would require a majority of 70 members of the Knesset in a discrete vote. A discrete vote, which means like nobody else is going to know till it's too late. But okay. In addition, new law will specifies that the ombudsman would not necessarily need to be a retired judge, which is the current custom, but anyone proposed by the justice minister. Well, I think that's interesting.
That's a
Because
weird.
now they're making it to where certain people can have a certain amount of power that technically would not be qualified.
I
And
understand.
a discreet vote. I don't trust discreet votes like that.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things I have against the Bilderbergs. They have this weird secret vote thing, and I don't like that.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is kind of like that.
Yeah. And Snortopupus says that Russian officials have the same lifespan as one of Darth Vader's admirals.
Probably.
I find your lack of faith disturbing, Snortopupus.
It's the best Vader I could do.
Poor Captain Nita. Anyway. All right. I am going to let you read this while I have to go tinkle.
Okay, sounds like a plan. After Post Report radio app by Hamas was removed from the App Store, the Hamas-run radio station Al-Aqsa Voices iPhone and iPad application was removed from the Apple Store on Sunday following a Jerusalem Post report and lobbying by a pro-Israel organization. The free application that allowed listeners to tune into broadcasts of the Gaza-based radio station was discovered by Middle East analyst Eitan Fischberger on June 29. And I'm going to read some of the chat lines because I can't really scroll down. But anyway, Mikey Susie 4 says that Paranoid Putin's just eliminating his competition and phantom conspirators. Snortopupus says, I'm sitting on a huge gas reserve myself, unfortunately. Cronus says, what about a Grand Moff? And you may fire when ready. So let's see if I can actually find this article myself after Post Report.
All right.
All right. She's back.
Yeah.
And she's out for vengeance.
Oh, no. Anyway, so let's see.
The Hamas-run radio station, Al-Aqsa. The
Which
application
I think is wild because, first off, I didn't know Hamas had a radio station, and certainly not on Apple Store. That sounds like bullshit because they kind of claim everything's Hamas. So, like, what if it's not Hamas? What if it's just like,
a radio station?
A radio station that they don't like their fucking opinion of.
Right.
Because I mean that's kind of weird. It's like how was there like a Hamas radio station this whole time and nobody fucking knew? Like what? That sounds kind of wild.
Fischberger's calls for Apple to remove the app, which he had warned would have allowed for listeners to tune into speeches by Hamas leaders like Yahya Sinwar, was met by the NGO Stand With Us. And we all know we can implicitly trust NGOs.
Right.
Stand With Us had rallied his activists to report the application to Apple. Thanks to your support. Thanks to your support, the hateful Hamas app is now removed from the Apple Store, Stand With Us told supporters on Instagram. It sounds like something from a freaking comic book or...
It does. And what I think is interesting is like, all right, so they hear his speeches. Like unless he's speaking English, most people are not going to like know what he's saying.
Right on.
And the whole Stand With Us and what was it?
I'm going to look Stand With Us up.
Yeah, I think it's wild. So they got a bunch of activists to like harass Apple until they drop those people's ability to communicate and speak. I think it's interesting because let's be honest. Like, if somebody's a bad guy, let them speak. Let them hang themselves.
Oh, do you want to know about the? This is wonderful. It is also known as the Israel Emergency Alliance. It's a nonprofit, right-wing, pro-Israel advocacy organization founded in L.A. in 2001 by Roz Rothstein, Jerry Rothstein, and Esther Renzer.
In 2001.
So, yeah, it's a pro.
2001 was an interesting year for Israel, apparently.
It's a pro-Israeli advocacy group, which that doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad, but
No, I just think it's funny that that got established the same year the towers went down. But
yeah.
like that was an interesting year. But yeah, so basically they're like don't want people to be able to hear their speeches. If they're all right, so here's the thing. So the news reports, oh, Hamas is saying this, or Yahya Sinwar is saying this and that and whatnot. Okay, if he's saying that, then why are you stopping him from making speeches? Because then we could just hear him say that.
Right on.
So why do you stop him from speaking, but supposedly you're telling us what he said?
Right.
Huh. Okay. Okay, that's weird, but all right.
And eat hearty at Kronos. Thank you so much for coming by.
Pepper. And hugs. All right. This one is good. Harvard drops suspension for pro-Palestinian protest. Good.
Okay.
Because those kids paid, well, the parents at the very least, paid a shit ton of money for them to go to school there. And honestly, protesting against war is kind of like your rite of passage at college.
Well, it's interesting that we're talking about that because I'm reading the biography right now of Hesburgh, the guy who was the president of Notre Dame for like ever.
Huh.
And he was president while there were all these protests in the 60s.
Right.
And he felt that it was the right of students to peacefully protest. Now, if they got violent or if they impeded people from going to classes, he would suspend their ass.
Well, yeah.
But
yeah,
if they were just protesting, that to him, that was legit.
Yeah, but some of these places were threatening to not let them have their degrees and everything.
Yeah. Now, that was another thing. He kind of had intermediate rules. So like violence, you were just gone. That was it.
I get that. But I mean, technically, if you go up and start beating on anybody anyway, it's on college campus.
Exactly.
So, I mean,
But if you were blocking classes, he had this rule. Basically, the faculty or whoever would come up and would ask for your school pass. If you provided it and left within 15 minutes, you would still be suspended, but you could come back to school. Right. But if you defied the faculty, you were gone.
Right.
That was it. It was over. But I do think that there needs to be some kind of reasonable rules for allowing students to voice their opinions.
Well, I think they had the rules, but when it came to like Israel, they started changing those rules. Suddenly, you weren't allowed to say those kind. They're like, no. If they were out there protesting against, well, I mean, there are some people who are like pro-Israel who are probably out there protesting as well.
Right.
And nobody talked about threatening them.
Right.
And they'll tell me they can't get just as rowdy. The hell they can't. Yes, they can.
Exactly.
We've seen it. Yes, they can.
So Harvard dropped suspensions for pro-Palestinian protesters.
That's good because how the hell are you preparing people? Well, I guess.
Well, again, I'm in total agreement.
Way to prepare somebody for the real world by telling them they have no right to protest all of a sudden.
Well, sadly, that kind of is where the world's going.
World ready to wreak all kinds of havoc.
Yeah.
Because and they're already like in some places they're already mulling through to see if you're anti-Semitic. And whether or not to hire you. And I'm like, wow. Because think about it. Can you imagine? I know some people are going to say, there's a difference. Okay, sure, Jan. But let's take this consideration. Let's say that one of y'all in the chat, because I don't know everybody's political beliefs. They could be political atheists, which is fine. But let's say that y'all wanted to, you posted on your Facebook or you went to one of those like little rallies and like, had a little Trump flag or whatever, checking it out. And you were applying for a job and they said, sorry, we saw that you support Trump, so we're not hiring you. You know what I'm saying? You'd be like, the fuck? Me liking Trump is not going to affect my ability to work. But they would come up with some kind of shit like, well, people just don't feel safe around you. We don't want a hostile work environment. Blah, 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 blah. And they're going to do the same thing to these pro-Palestinian kids. when they try to say,
Mhm.
oh, we don't want someone who's anti-Semitic, even though, ironically, Palestinians are Semitic, but whatever.
Right
Again,
on.
facts don't matter, I guess. You know, and they could be like, sorry, there's some Jewish people or Christian nationalist types or whatever that don't feel comfortable having you around. It's the same kind of silliness. It
Right.
is. Because if you're doing doctor stuff or you're doing construction, I don't see how what you believe in your off time has anything to do with that. It's
If
speaking
he,
shitty to people because you didn't group think.
yeah, exactly. If you read the Taibbi files about Twitter, I don't know how I feel about Musk, but I do think that at least he did a partially good thing, maybe not a completely good thing when he cleaned out Twitter. And the reason I bring that up is because that was their practice there. Basically, if you were pro Trump, you were not going to be hired there.
Well, he's cleared that, but then he's done this
He's done
overcorrection.
some other stuff. I'm not
Yeah,
saying
he's
that
done an
he's.
overcorrection now.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
actually, Facebook does not want to get outdone. So anything that looks like you're talking shit about Zionists, they will take it down.
Right.
I'm like, well, what if Zionists are targeting me, though?
Right. Right.
Maybe I don't want to see Zionist content. But it's weird because I'll talk some mad shit, and then the next day I've got all this silly, like, pro-Zionist shit. Like, there was one that's like some, I don't know, it sounds like you're supposed to give it money, so I guess it's a startup of some kind, or you're buying shares into it. But some kind of, like, Israeli oil company that's supposed to be off the Gulf or something, which makes me wonder what the fuck are y'all doing in the Gulf? But whatever.
Well, it's
That's
international
supposed to be our
waters.
drilling. If we're not
yeah.
drilling ourselves, you're not drilling us. I know that sounds weird,
Right.
but, that's how I feel. Like, but yeah,
Well, I
I get ads for that. I get ads for asking me if I want to take a vacation in Israel. I'm like, definitely not right now. Good God, that's stupid.
Right.
I saw another one where it was talking about buying real estate there. I'm like, that's tacky. Like, I'm in Oklahoma. I'm already on a native burial ground. I really don't need to be on another.
Right.
Like, let's not go out of my way to be haunted. But anyway, I keep getting these, and I have adjusted my fucking like ad preferences to stop this from happening, and it still keeps fucking happening. I still keep getting this stuff where it asks me, "Do I want to go to school to learn Hebrew?" I'm like, "No, I don't." And I keep reporting every ad I get, and it keeps sending me fucking more. And then they had the audacity to send me one of those things where, like, I guess it's you can buy like rare minted coins and like novelty coins that are gold or some shit, and it's got, swear to God, it's got a fucking Star of David and a fucking American flag like embossed on it or whatever that fucking is for coins and shit, and it's got this like the side profile of Trump and Netanyahu.
Oh wow!
I was like, the fucking audacity. You know what? Let me see if I can find it real quick. Just because, like, I'm not smart enough to make that up on my own, but let me see if I can find it. Gold, Trump, Netanyahu coin. Let's see if we find it.
The Trump Temple coins.
That's not his best side profile they gave that.
No.
That one was a little better, but this was giving turkey neck. Poor bastard. Like they did him dirty with that, actually. Like, god dang. Let's see. Images. Find it. It's just giving.
Is that it?
Oh, yes.
Israeli.
Oh, fuck's sake, it's trying to do me like that. Hold up. Israeli challenge coin. Okay, that's what it fucking is. Hold on. Oh, they're trying to play me like this. Okay, because I saw it. Like, okay, y'all trying to play me.
Clickbait. But at least there is an image of it.
Magnify image. There it is.
Sons of Light.
I was wrong. It's not gold. I thought the one that advertised was. But yeah, the war of the Sons of Light against the Sons of Darkness. Apparently, that wasn't considered inappropriate the first time, so they doubled down. So yes,
Okay.
Trump and Netanyahu and a fucking Star of David and the yeah. Tell me that we're not a sovereign nation without telling me we're not a sovereign nation no more. That we're fucking like Siamese twin joined with these fuckers. Our government shouldn't be like this. Like, I don't care if you think it's anti-Semitic. I would have a problem if it was Xi Jinping. I would have a problem if it was that little weird Teletubby in North Korea, whatever the fuck his name is.
Right. What is his name?
Kim Jong Un. That's
Kim,
it.
yeah, there you go.
His dad was
Always
Kim
look
Jong
on the
Il, and then
bright
Kim Jong
side.
Il got Kim Jong sick, and he died. But yeah, I'm sorry. I feel like this is treason or something because our former and possibly again future leader should not be like on a fucking coin like this with another country's leader. This is so grossly inappropriate. And like I said, it could have been what's that fucker over in UK that he's just stepped down, but like Susie Sunak or whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
Roger
happy if it was
Athay
him
would love
either.
him.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't be happy if it was him either because we had a revolution about that kind of shit in the first
right.
place. So don't have him on our fucking coin. And why? But yeah, this is fucking ridiculous. No. Like everybody was all about America first until now. Everybody was
right.
like, we don't want any foreign interference. Oh, except for them. Let me lube up. I'll take it. No. I don't know what part of no foreign interference people are having a hard time understanding. But yeah, I thought it was a gold coin. My bad. It was apparently silver. I was so flat. My flabber was so gassed that I forgot what color the coin was. I just remember the picture on it, which was
versus he's not getting interesting ads like that. All he gets are ads about dating Ukrainian women, and I have gotten my share of this.
It's because I talk so much mad shit against Israel. They're trolling me. That's really what it is. They're trolling me for this. Yeah. Because it's certainly not because I want any of their silly shit. The only ad I clicked on was that oil one and I was like, what the fuck? And I wanted to see what this was about. But I was getting them before that. So I was like, oh, and in Oklahoma.
Ooh, I'm going to love this one.
This is the most America thing I have seen in a while. A vending machine that gives you ammunition.
Wow.
I was going to check it out just for the fucking shits and giggles of it.
God bless America.
Right. Well, I think they have tricked. This is like the pedo van with the free kittens written on the side of it.
Oh, gotcha.
This is it for the right. This is it for the Republican Party, and I'll explain why. Because the way they do this, I don't know if it mentions it in here, but you can scan your license, which is fine, but they're also going to take a kind of a biometric read of your face. And, there it is, facial recognition technology. Now, my fellow Republicans have been very against facial recognition technology on random shit because they don't want their business out there. They don't want their phone doing facial recognition, although some are dumb, they do it anyway, but whatever. They don't want it at fucking intersections, when you're driving. But so they have managed to get the free ammo written on the side of the pedo van. They have found a way to fucking catch the silly ones that are so extra America that they fucking forgot to think for a second. Because America doesn't like us. Well, I'm going to be honest. The U.S. government, the one in charge, whatever doesn't actually like us. So if they do something like this for us, that means there's always something attached. We are not getting the libertarian utopia we were hoping for. No, this facial recognition technology does not fall under that. Hold on a second. Oh, sorry, it feels like I have sand in my throat when I try to talk. It's hard to talk. But to keep ammo, and don't get me wrong, I understand they want to make sure that the wrong people who are 12 aren't buying it. I get that.
Right.
But I feel like that maybe ammo is not the thing to use in a vending machine. Now, I
tend to agree.
That's in a liquor store, but even then, I don't know. That might be a bad message.
Yeah, I'm very much pro Second Amendment, but I do kind of cringe a little bit.
I thought it was funny. The libertarian in me absolutely loved it when I first saw it. I thought it was hilarious. I was like, "Fuck yeah," But then when I saw the facial recognition technology, to hear this cartoon car hitting its brakes, and then a record scratch, I'm like, what? No, man. I'll take my happy ass to Bass Pro Shop and get
Here's
ammo.
the deal. And I'm sure you've already thought of this, and hopefully I'm not stealing your thunder. If this is your next thought, please forgive me. But isn't this just what the government needs, is to know who the ammo buyers are, so we know who
the pedo van is the U.S. government. They just
Yep.
wrote free kittens, free ammo, or like vending machine ammo, whatever, and you just hop right, well, whoever it is, the figurative you, have just hopped right inside. They're like, hell yeah. And it's like, the government now, because where do you think that information goes? It says facial recognition technology. So that means that it has access to a database that knows that's your face or not.
I'm
So
sure it's not. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ugh.
so that means that you go up there, they're going to know that you bought like 50 rounds of 9mm.
Mhm.
They're going to know that means that most likely you have a 9mm, at least one.
That's the
So
only
that
reason
tells
why
them
they're
a little
doing
bit about
this.
what gun is in your house.
Yeah.
Or that you have access to, because why would you, or if you don't have it, then they're going to try to hem you up for buying ammo for someone else.
And this is in Florida, or where is this?
Oh, it's the two, at least two of the places you would, no, three places that I know of that you would absolutely expect it. Alabama, here in Oklahoma, and Texas.
Oh, Lord. I mean,
And
again,
I think about that. Well, actually, I don't know a lot about Alabama, to be honest. But Texas and Oklahoma are Texas is kind of getting some blue spots around. But
yeah.
part, though,
And Oklahoma has,
it's a heavy Republican and anti-government sentiment, which they're right to, because I have it too. Fuck them. But fuck the government, fuck the police, whatever. Anyway, thank you, NWA. Is that it?
drawing a blank. I'm having a senior moment.
I have my moments too. Anyway, but it was like Eazy-E, who's like, fuck the police.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I think it's NWA. Anyway, but the point nonetheless, because like I didn't listen to cool music back then, so I missed it. Anyway, but it says to keep its ammo safe, they use ID scanners along with facial recognition technology. Which, don't get me wrong, for what they're doing, I get that, but I feel like at the same time, I'd rather just go into Bass Pro and just them going, okay, you're over 21, and let me buy my shit. I mean, granted, I have not bought ammo, so I don't really know what the procedure is to go up to the counter and buy it. Like, I've been around other people who have, and they showed their ID, but like, I assume that's it. They just want to make sure you're not like fucking 12 years old doing it or something.
They've gotten it to where it's so expensive you can't hardly afford it.
Well, it's been like 15 years since I see someone buy ammo I was with, so I don't know. But the point, I think it's almost, oh God.
There's a friend of mine who's somewhat close to the military. He's ex-military. I don't have any other source for this, but he claims that basically the plan in the next 5 or 6 years is to have the government buying up so much ammo that there's none left for anyone else. All the government.
That sounds very hard to do because they create so much ammo. But what they have been doing, since they make it hard to just take your gun, but they make it expensive to operate it because technically it's not against the Constitution per se to increase the price of ammunition, so you just can't afford to use your gun. Because if you don't have bullets, then you just have a paperweight.
Yep.
But here, like this, it says these environments. All right, they're talking about ammunition sold off the shelf or online, which I actually didn't know you could buy ammo online. That's kind of cool. These environments led to inadvertent sales to underage purchases, which I get, or in the case of retail stores, high theft rate. High theft rate. I'm sorry. I've been in a couple of places. I've been to different places that sell guns and stuff, and they all have it in a case that is locked, and only the person who works there has it. And a lot of times it's behind the counter where they are.
If it's being stolen, it's being stolen by someone inside the store.
Most likely is because, I mean, I'm feeling lazy, but I have to be. Actually, no, it's almost 9 o'clock, so places like Bass Pro is probably not even open. But I would be almost happy to, like, if I wasn't lazy at the moment, to go and see. Because when I went to Bass Pro, and I assume they're kind of like Walmart, they all have a general layout they stick to. Yeah. And you go, like the one here, you walk in the door, you go almost to the middle of the store, and then you take a sharp left. And actually, they do have some ammo on the shelves there. They do have some. The last I remember, but again, this has been over 10 years since I was there, so it's been a while. But they also have people at the door, like, to catch you if you're trying to steal shit.
Right.
If everybody's watching everybody, you think, I mean, if someone sees you putting ammo in your pocket, those people are going to snitch on you.
Oh, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I really just, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I haven't really heard about a high theft rate of ammunition. I haven't been hearing about that. A lot of it's kept under lock and key. If you go to Walmart, it's under lock and key. You can't get to it.
I know there's lots of violence going on in, say, California. I could maybe see some high theft out there because they're not prosecuting it.
Maybe.
But
here, we're talking about this ammo to keep the ammo out of the hands of minors or people who are using fake IDs. Like, I think fake IDs are almost impossible now because they all got like holograms and shit.
Yeah.
And a way of scanning the ID. So if it's not real, then it's not going to scan. So I feel like they're just kind of bullshitting us with this.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like you say, the libertarian in me is all like, yeah, but I smell a rat.
I do
I'm
too.
afraid I smell a rat.
Because it scans your face, and that instantly, if your phone can take pictures of you without realizing it, what do you think this thing is going to do?
Yep, 100%.
I mean, this was probably put out by people and funded by people who want to do you wrong, or the company was legit, but to be allowed the green light to do it, they probably had to make some concessions.
Yep.
And that information, like they scan your face, they'd be like, "Oh yes, the polar bear in the Yahoo chat. God damn, how old am I? Fuck.
I remember Yahoo chat.
Right?
That's actually one of the reasons why I enjoy these streams is because it reminds me of those good old days.
Heck yeah.
When chat was worth going to, and there were sometimes real people and not just bots trying to scam you for.
Yeah, bots were almost not even a thing back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, why is this thing doing this? It's
I don't know.
Oh, should I have made my free?
That is your last free recipe or whatever.
Like the last couple of them, they were telling me I couldn't see it at all. It was behind a paywall. I'm like, I'm not paying you to see a recipe. So somebody in the chat was like, it's free. And I'm like, no, it's 30 cents a week. I'm not doing that. I'm too cheap for that. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's the last Ukrainian bride that hit me up. I am free and good at this and that. Yeah, right. Whatever.
Yeah, so they're scanning your face, and they're going to know that the polar bear in the YouTube chat bought 40 rounds of 7.62 by 3.9. You know what I mean? It's like whatever. They're going to know. So they're going to at least have a half decent guess that either him or someone in his house or someone he is close to has a SKS. I almost said 30-06. My bad. I'm an idiot. They're gonna like, okay, there's a good chance that him or someone he knows has that, so they can kind of start taking inventory of people's weapons that they claim they lost off their boat. You know, and it's because if you lost your gun, why would you be buying bullets for it? You know what I mean? I don't know how many people are gonna fall for this, but I'm
in case I find it.
Right. So this is wild. I don't know why the U.S. Army is doing this. I don't know. Maybe their soldiers have been getting so many people fucking pregnant all over the world that perhaps that abortion might be in their favor.
Well, maybe I should have joined the military.
I heard somewhere that a lot of military were told not to take DNA tests because there could be like long lost children or long lost siblings overseas, and they might be entitled to child care and benefits, and so they don't want you to know. Like, it's fucking wild. I was like, what? So I wonder if that is trained into it, because like it's kind of like weird. Like, why would the U.S. Army be holding a training class calling pro-lifers like terrorist organizations? That's some weird double talk. Because like,
well, I have liberal friends who are not far from thinking that that's the case. But,
I mean, I think it's wild because like literally some of them do get a little close to it, but like
some do. Yeah, to be fair, some do. Because
we have one representative here. I think he's a senator. Warren Hamilton, and somewhere on YouTube, God love him, bless his heart. Somewhere on YouTube, you will find from like I think it was 2022. I think this happened, and he was speaking in front of everybody at the Capitol, and he was wanting to know if certain concessions and stuff could be made, or certain things, or asking about certain concessions in their pro-life bill, because they were having to where, like, if it's an ectopic pregnancy, this and that, you could get an abortion. And he was wanting to know why, even if it's an ectopic pregnancy, that's still a life, and why is it not being considered? And I'm like, does he not know what the fuck that means?
Yeah,
You
exactly.
can't take it out and replant.
Exactly.
I wish you could. That would be fucking cool. But
Well, we're probably not that far from it, but
right? I mean, that would be neat because there'd be a lot of people. There are a lot of people who want to have their baby and they just lose it. It detaches and they're heartbroken. Like that would, I'm
yeah,
sure they'd be
exactly.
super happy if they could fix that. But
Oh my gosh, this is totally off topic. But
sorry.
have you heard the song? I was getting kind of used to being someone you loved.
That sounds vaguely familiar.
Okay, I know this is totally off topic, but this is where my mind goes. I wish I could. I'm having a senior moment. Whoever the singer is that sings that, he has a couple of different versions of the video, and for some reason, my favorite version only doesn't hardly get any views, and it's got his. It's got the guy who played one of the later Doctor Who's, and the song's going on, and basically the theme of the video is that this old man's wife dies, but she donates her heart to this other woman. So the little girl gives him this picture that says, "Thank you for helping mommy live," and it just makes me cry every time I see it. I'm not crying, Moira. You're crying.
Right.
But anyway, I don't know why that's what popped in my head. Don't mind me.
Let's see. All right. So yeah, I think it's wild, but I like.
You want me to read this one? You can read the next one.
Well, yeah.
All right. A U.S. Army base in North Carolina previously held a training class in which pro-life organizations were described explicitly as terrorist groups. The training class included a representation that featured a slide listing the pro-life group's National Right to Life and Operation Rescue. You would know more about them than I do. So
I don't know those names, but
as terrorist organizations at Fort Liberty, formerly Fort Bragg, the fort confirmed to the Daily Caller News Foundation. The fort condemned the slides on Thursday and claims that the slide deck was put together by a garrison employee who was not authorized to use them for the presentation.
I feel like that's a lie.
Love bureaucracy.
I think they're trying to cover their ass because I think they got more blowback than they expected. Because how are you going to go up there and like use a slide show and not be authorized and nobody say anything? But also, like you said, for the presentation. But so you're telling me that the presentation was okay? You just didn't want them to show like images? Like they don't seem to be rebuting the whole presentation in general.
This is a national outrage. Instead of defending us from foreign terrorists, Joe Biden's Pentagon is attacking pro-life Americans as a domestic terror threat, Republican Indiana Representative Jim Banks told the DCNF. Even if the slide deck was unapproved, it still exposes the Biden Pentagon for creating a politicized environment where far-left whack jobs feel they can get away with teaching our troops that conservative Americans are their adversary. He kind of has a little bit of a point. He may not have a perfect point, but he has a little bit of one. And legitimate military targets. We are in dangerous territory. Exactly,
because I'm concerned because for a while there, and nobody really talks about it as much anymore. I think I'm kind of worried about it. They were talking about whether or not soldiers were being asked if they would open fire on their own people or not. And I feel like this is probably sticking their toe in the water with it a little bit by putting these ideas in. And so,
you know the difference between how the Russian coup back in the early 90s failed, but yet the Tiananmen Square, basically the Chinese just went ahead and demolished their own people. The Russian troops weren't willing to fire on their own people, but the Chinese, they were smart. They grabbed people from other provinces, so they didn't care.
They know you won't get your own people, so make sure.
And I think that's when the crap hits the fan. I think that's what it's going to be. You'll have this may not be the exact scenario, but you'll have Californians firing on Oklahomans. You'll have Texans firing on New York City people.
I mean, they've been kind of waiting
you
to do
know,
that anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm joking.
Well, I'm kind of not, because
I
I
know.
feel like a lot of this polarization is designed.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
really do.
Look, like right here, it says the slide you see here is followed right after a slide about ISIS.
Wow.
Yeah, they want to make sure that your brain is connecting those two together.
You know, I'm going to look them up. Maybe, maybe not.
What?
National, because I don't know enough about them. I mean,
The natural right to life?
yeah. I mean, I have no idea. Okay, through education and legislation, national right to life. And now my internet's just spinning. It was founded in 1968. Works to restore legal protection to the unborn. I mean, maybe I'm just an idiot, but this doesn't look like a bunch of terrorists to me.
Well, no, but understand. Well, yeah, but there's so much more that goes into it, though. Like,
yeah.
All right, yeah. So, like, yeah, I think did we have this the other day? No. Yeah, no.
So
Anti-Trump GOP group. I didn't know there was one of those. Post a video of him praising Project 2025 authors and his latest denial. Like,
yeah, there's some. There's
after
not
his
many.
latest denial. Sorry.
Right on.
No, I said something wrong. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Anyway.
Former President Donald Trump is once again denying any knowledge or involvement with the controversial far-right Project 2025 initiative written by the Heritage Foundation. In a post to his Truth Social account Thursday, the 45th President of the United States posted yet another vehement denial of both Project 2025 and the people behind it. This is the second time he has publicly distanced himself from the authoritarian strategic document pushed by both Heritage and well over 100 of his previous administration's advisors and staffers.
Yep. And so I found a TikTok video, and she got about like 10 seconds into the video, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to play this for everybody because I want us all to hear this. Because
okay,
yeah, so that was the video that was trying to play, and I was like, it unpaused itself. Shit. So hold on, let me see. My little cup.
Oh, it's a hand.
That's my lamp.
Oh,
that's my little cup. Okay. Anyway,
it is the lamp of truth.
Let me see if I can get her video rewound.
You know, oddly enough, it's reminding me of that Devil Hill. Sorry.
What?
It's reminding me of that Devil Hill on Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh, it's been a while. Oh, yeah, it does. I have a little bit, and so I'm gonna either vote for him or Dr. Jill. That dude is fucking hilarious. Anyway, all right, so let me see if I can play this for y'all. All right.
Biden's role in Project 2025 is to not prosecute the Heritage Foundation. And he's doing a damn good job. The Heritage Foundation president just made terroristic threats to the American population. Biden could mobilize the National Guard to detain every single member of Heritage Foundation that is publicly listed. I would say he actually has a duty to do that. Is he going to mobilize the National Guard?
Well, I would like to know what threat it was. Like, hold on.
Yeah, I do really want to know what's actually on it, because I know what the left is telling us it says.
Right. I want to see, like,
I'll be blunt. I don't believe, one, I don't believe that all of it's true. And two, there's a lot of stuff on there that without meaning to be horrible, I actually know that Trump either doesn't support or he's been replaced by a clone.
Right.
Or something.
I think any of that's possible. You think they would give him better hair?
Yeah, 100%.
Let's see what this video is, because that was a response to something else.
No, that's okay. And for all I know, I may be completely wrong. It may, Trump may have written it in his own pen, and I'm completely deceived. But I need to look up Dr. Shiva.
because she's talking about because a lot of times they consider it be a terrorist threat if you just don't agree with them. So, like, I was hoping that she was going to show us some examples of what she was referring to as a terrorist threat. Like, that if they said they were going to come round us all up, then yeah, that would be concerning. If they just like, oh, we're just going to get rid of the FBI because they're a bunch of douchebags, I'd be like, that's fair. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a couple of things about the Heritage Hall thing that I like. Like, they're going to supposedly get rid of the FBI. I'm like, serves them right, the fucking dickheads.
Right.
FBI. So, but you know what? I mean, it's... it'll just create a power vacuum. They'll just replace it with something else or just rename it because the CIA wasn't always the CIA. It was like the OSS or something.
Exactly. Correct.
And so they didn't get rid of it. They just changed its name and gave it a makeover. That's all. So, like, they probably wouldn't get rid of the FBI. They just give it a makeover and make it something different. So, like, if I thought they were really getting rid of the feds, I'd be like, nice. Or at least getting rid of the ones that, are doing stupid shit like that. I'd be like, yeah, get rid of them. But, like, there's always this monkey claw where you might get what you want, but in the most fucked up way possible. Right. And I really feel like all of it is that way. Like, think about the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act sounds patriotic, but we know it's fucking not. So the Heritage Foundation sounds all nice and cozy. It's probably not.
No. Well, I remember when I listened to Rush Limbaugh, he was always an advocate for them. So back then, and I've changed my views quite a bit since then, but back then I actually thought, oh, they're great people and this and that. And now I don't know. I don't know if they've changed or I've changed.
I think we both changed a little bit. Like, I think we started seeing them more for what they were, and we wouldn't be seeing them more for what they were if they weren't getting to the point where they were so extreme.
I will say this.
Oftentimes we see what we want to see and we see what's convenient. If it's so fucking glaringly obvious they have lost their fucking minds that we're sitting here going, I'm a Republican, but I'm not this kind of Republican.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's them. The Republican, I didn't leave the Republican Party. It left me.
Exactly.
I think it left 100%. A lot of us. It's just that we don't like the other option either. So people vote Republican because they don't have anything else because the liberals are doing their own weird shit. And they're like, well, I don't really want that, but, okay.
And people in the chat are talking about Dr. Shiva, how the left and the right have the exact same identical lobbyists controlling both sides, which I agree. Mm-hmm. And he says,
APAC and there's a couple others just like APAC. Yeah. And they are just the worst of them. And Dr. Shiva, he was the one that I put that video on, where he's like, I'm the one who you should vote for because I don't suck Zionist cock. I thought that was the funniest stuff. I lost my shit. I was like,
oh my gosh.
I was like, bruh, oh my
think
God.
There's any chance he's on the Oklahoma ballot?
I hope so. I don't know. Is there any way to find out if there's like a sample to show us what the Oklahoma ballot
I'll look it up.
Because that would be nice.
Who is on the Oklahoma?
The 2024, November 2024. That way it doesn't get confused.
Right.
Because Google is like a child. If you give it a chance to weasel out of a question, it will do so. You have to ask it directly sometimes.
I'm using DuckDuckGo.
That also could work.
Well, yeah, it's a little better than Google, but Ballotopedia has quite a few people on it, but I don't see Dr. Shiva.
Who else on it?
So for the primary, it has Joe Biden. Well, I'll just read who won the primaries because the rest don't really. I mean, not to be mean, but they don't really matter. Joe Biden, Donald Trump, and the Libertarian is Chase Oliver.
I don't know who that is, but
I don't either, sadly. I would love for the Libertarians to do better. He got 569 votes. It makes me sad.
Yeah, they'll be allowed to keep playing as long as they play along to get along. Like as long as they I'm trying to think of what it is. I'm trying to think. Oh, God, actually, that's a terrible example, and I'm kind of afraid it's going to get me canceled.
Yeah, don't get canceled. There's no point.
All right, I'm trying to figure out another way to phrase it. You know how like if somebody might be seen as a threat, so they play stupid and play the fool, so everybody's like, oh, how charming, and then they don't see you as a threat anymore. And so,
okay, yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what the Libertarian Party's
Yeah,
doing.
pretty much. Anyway, I thought this was fantastic, by the way. I fucking love this. I put this on my Facebook story. I thought this was fucking great. Gay furry hackers claim credit for hacking Heritage Foundation files over Project 2025. Gay furry hackers. This is like the second time I've heard about these guys. This is the funniest. Man, what a time to be alive to see headlines like this. I had to add that fucking laughing face. I was like, the weirdest tweet I've seen, and I posted it on my Facebook story. Because when I post things on my regular Facebook, like nobody seems to see it, or they at least don't look at it, or they don't acknowledge it. But on my Facebook story, it shows you who looked at it. So I'm like, I know you saw that, motherfucker. Because my Facebook story oftentimes will get like 16 views per picture, something there. It varies. If I put more than 4, it gets worse because nobody wants to sign up to watch an entire slideshow, which I get. So I try to keep it to 4 or less.
I understand.
And so I posted that. I was like, oh my God, that's a fantastic title. I think I knew they knew what they were doing. They knew it was going to be wild and sensationalized in the headlines. And I'm like, well played, young people. That's hilarious. But,
fantastic.
I think so too. That is pretty funny. Well, I got a headache.
You have a headache?
Yep. I've talked and smoked myself to a headache. Ooh.
That's I think we've had a good stream, or at least I hope you feel we have. I had fun, and I learned a little bit. I always learn a lot on your show. It's one of the reasons why I like to come here.
Oh, for goodness sakes. Apparently, hold on, let me.
What we got?
Let me find it.
Doctor.
Oh, it's being silly. Hold on. Entire screen. Okay. So let's see if we can go back to this. Yeah, this silly shit. It reverses on key Israeli concessions. They didn't have much of a concession because, like, one of the articles, and God, I think we covered it before. I think is that my TV glitches out. Sorry. Anyway, it said that they would agree to the ceasefire as long as they could keep fighting. And I'm like, do they not know what a fucking ceasefire means?
Oh, yeah.
That's like the fucking dumbest shit. I do remember
that article, yes.
I was like, that is such a weird fucking thing. I feel like there's a lot of gaslighting there. You ever been a kid who was getting bullied by another kid and they had their little fist pulled back like they're going to pretend to hit you and they don't, and you put your hand up, they're like, don't put your fucking hand down. Put it down. And I feel like it's giving that.
Right.
Don't you dare put your hand up. Don't say anything. I didn't do anything. And they're literally doing something. It's giving that. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has reversed on key Israeli concessions in the ceasefire negotiation. I wonder what it is. Hold on, because he already figured that ceasefire should not stop them from fighting. So, I don't think he knows what that fucking means. Israeli had previously agreed on Palestinians' unrestricted access to northern Gaza. When did that? I never heard of any of them having unrestricted access to Gaza. I never heard that. He must have been trolling somebody, because that doesn't sound like that's something he would have done. But the Prime Minister told his negotiation team this week to demand that armed men be barred from northern Gaza. I assumed they weren't supposed to have guns anyway. Most of the civilians don't have weapons. So, armed men being barred from there, I doubt armed men were walking up to the gates of Gaza in front of y'all either. What? Come on now. That sounds like some silliness. Unless it's just some way to, I don't know. The new
Either that or it's just a terribly worded article. One of the
It could be that. It could be that. Because, it's all a mess. It really is. I'm just it makes me kind of want to see what else there is. Because
he does look like Dr. Evil in a toupee.
God, that's fucking awesome. He's not quite as pale, but I can hope for skin cancer for him. Jerusalem Post says over 70% of Israelis believe Netanyahu should resign.
That's got to tell you something,
right? So people are like, you're anti-Semitic. You don't like. I'm not anti-Semitic. I don't like him. I don't like him probably the same reason a lot of them don't like him.
If you're in agreement with 70% of Israelis, then then you can't. At least in this issue, you can't be held as anti-Semitic. So.
Exactly. Exactly.
Frosty
And I
B.
don't even know if it's 70%, and that might be just 70% of the people they surveyed. They didn't get like everybody.
That's true. That's true. But
So
you would think
they might have asked 100 or 1,000 people, and there's like over 1 million people living there.
yeah. But I
But
mean, the
there's been so
Jerusalem
many
Post,
protests.
I don't get the impression that they're keen on, forcing, telling truth to power. So I would think if they're going to have a slanted survey, that it would slant pro Netanyahu. But anyway, it is what
Like,
it is.
for instance, I just picked a random month. News about Israeli protests in 2023 in April. So right here, in April of 2023, tens of thousands
Are
Israelis-
protesting him.
Yep.
Oh yeah, because of the judiciary. Yeah, I would have.
Well, I found out about that in like July and August.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I don't know how long it's been going on, but yeah, but it planned to overhaul the judiciary despite soaring tensions following 2 deadly attacks. And I wouldn't be surprised he fucking set up to give him an excuse to do it, like that Roshtag fire.
Right.
The protests aim to prevent the government from implementing its judicial overhaul plans. So, all right, so let's go back up here and let's pick March. Let's see what we get with this. Oh, okay, that's July. Videos of Israelis' massive protests
in 2022.
Yep, let's see what it says. That's 9 months ago.
Looks like a lot of people.
11 months ago.
But now to the crisis in Israel, the country is being swept by massive protests against a core reform plan that critics call a threat to democracy, as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was rushed to the hospital Sunday with a heart problem.
Yeah, we didn't get that lucky, clearly. But yeah, I'm trying to find it for like 2022. And that was 11 months ago.
Right on.
But yeah, so even before the war started, I think he created this war to try to distract everyone.
Well, that's what a lot of these wars are.
Protesting against him.
That's what a lot of these wars are, is just picking distractions so that we don't see what's going on.
Exactly. Sorry, I can't. It's like I'm trying to cough up sand. Oof. Ugh.
Frosty B says ex-leaders of high-profile figures of Israel can at times have a tendency to end up no longer alive before their time.
Yep.
Don't cross the Mossad. Shout out to the NSA agent monitoring this phone call. Kitty!
Oh, that was a cute kitty. I shouldn't have clicked that off. I'm sorry. Poor kitty. But yeah, so I just wanted to bitch about that first. Oh, and Delta Airlines is having to apologize because they made a stupid comment on their official Delta Twitter that since a couple of their steward people had Palestinian lapel pins, they were saying, yeah, we would be scared too if that was our flight attendant or something. And so that comment was on their official Delta, which they had to take down and apologize for. I'm like, as you should, motherfucker. I was trying my best not to give them like any money if I was going to go up to Connecticut. Well, by the way, if y'all want to donate to my PayPal to help me see my daughter again, that would be super awesome. It is pinned in the chat at the top there. I totally forgot about that because once you get me rolling on these things, I can't freaking stop. Hey.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I think I feel like I just squeezed and rang out my head or everything and got everything. Oh.
Did you get all that stuff out?
I think so.
Okay, that'll be $50.95. That's my therapy bill.
Where?
I'm teasing.
Oh, I'm poor.
I know. Why do you think I don't go to therapy anymore? I need it.
Oh, okay. The Hill is talking about how public education is going to be changed. I'm like, you know what? All right. Let's go look. You poor thing. You were like, ugh. You sound like Kith on like Futurama when like Zach Brannigan does something to upset him. He's like, ugh. I do that to Chris too. He tells me I sound like Kith.
The education portion of the sweeping platform.
Oh, we're up. I highlighted it up here.
Okay, the Department of Education would be eliminated, student loans would be privatized, federal legislation on parental rights would be pushed under Project 2025, the conservative wish list of policies put together for the next Republican president that has sparked widespread controversy. The education portion of the sweeping platform, put together by a coalition of right-wing organizations that support former President Trump, would fundamentally change how K-12 and higher education funding and curriculum work. Trump has sought to distance himself, and I would hope that he does, from Project 2025 as it gains attention, with experts saying the far-right platform would do substantial damage to the federal government on a variety of fronts, including for schools and students. It is not hyperbole to say that Project 2025 would be a wrecking ball to public education in this country, and it seeks to radically undermine and undercut the ability of people to get a quality education in this country. And then even goes further and seeks to transform our public education system and our public schools into ideological extremist spaces, said Sky Perryman, president and CEO of Democracy Forward, about which I know nothing, but...
Which means it's probably the very opposite. It's only democracy if they think it is.
Yeah,
So,
again,
there can be more than
I
one
don't...
bully on the school playground.
Now, even though I say it's exaggerated, I would not doubt that Edwards wants this project hook, line, and sinker. And when I say it's exaggerated, what I mean by that is, at least from the statements I've heard from Trump, I haven't heard him say a lot of he said some stuff about education, but I don't recall him ever saying that he wanted to, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't recall him ever saying that he wanted to get rid of the Department of Education.
I've been hearing them talk about it for a while, on and on.
Have you? Okay.
But they really haven't done. Hasn't really done much for people in a long time. What's his name? Oh, the pruny looking motherfucker, all shriveled up. It's not Rothschild. What's like the Rothschilds, but not
Rockefeller?
Thank you. When Rockefeller took over the American education, he's the pruny looking motherfucker. If you look at him, he looks like he's a dehydrated mummy. Anyway, he took over the American education thing in 1903, and he was notorious for basically wanting us to be just educated enough to be useful.
Yes.
And so if this is the foundation of it, perhaps a little, tearing it down might be okay, as long as they have something decent. But I'm a little scared that this is what the Heritage Foundation is trying to do. Because think about it, they're trying to gear up to start changing how social studies is done, and basically rewrite the history books and rewrite the history curriculum just in time for them to want to destroy the school board or the Board of Education. So the Heritage Hall would probably want to take its place, and it would be controlling what your kids know, which, granted, I don't feel that it's any better than what's already happened.
Yeah,
they'll pick one direction instead of another.
The libertarian in me is please forgive me, my friends who are teachers, but the libertarian in me would actually be okay with the Department of Education going away. But having said that, I don't want it replaced by the Heritage Foundation.
And I think that's what they're gearing the Heritage Foundation up for doing. They're going to simulate into that. So if they don't tear down the
basically, it's just a right-wing version of the left-wing Department of Education.
Yes, and
is all it is.
And the way Rockefeller didn't want y'all to know any more than was necessary. They didn't want you to know enough to rebel. They just wanted you to know enough to be a useful worker. Heritage Hall wants you to learn how to keep your mouth shut, even if the minister's touching you. They don't want you to know that, any kind of horrible crimes happen in this country against people who were defenseless. And honestly, and I've said this on Frosty's channel, and I've probably said it here before, but I'll say it again. Let's see. I'm trying to remember how because when I said it, it sounded so fucking smooth. So I'm trying to see if I can bring that.
You should have written it down.
I should have, but I also have a head cold and headache, so my brain's not working great.
I don't mean to be rude.
They always say those who do not learn history are doomed to repeat it, but those who are trying to hide history are, in fact, trying to repeat it.
Yeah, they're trying to make sure you're doomed to repeat it.
They don't want you going, wait. This looks suspicious. Wait a minute. I've seen this before. They don't want you to do that. Meow.
Good evening, Matt Cheatwood.
You poor kitty. We were just about to wrap it up. Darn it.
We had a great stream. We talked about the good, the bad, the ugly, the Zionists, the right-wing version of corrupted education. We talked a little bit, I think pretty centristly about the 2025 thing.
Well, I guess because we don't really know much about it. We're just going by what we're seeing.
I know,
what it's gearing up to do.
I know the left is hopping up and down about it, and I've got to say this.
You're right. Even a broken watch can be right twice a day.
As far as the Heritage Foundation, I don't doubt that that's true. I
think it has a warm fuzzy name because it's a wolf in sheep's clothing.
My query is, and not to say that I'm pro-Trump, but how much of it is Trump's doing?
I think he's got more say in it because either A, he's lying, or B, he's so dumb that he doesn't know what the people around him are doing. Either way, it's not good.
That's the thing I don't like about Trump is, we investigated all that. He has Trump himself might not be so bad, but when you surround yourself with these people, they can steer you in a not so great place. Oh my gosh, Frosty B. Rocks is making a great insight. North America is basically pre-war Germany, the tip of the spear of the New World Order. Our society is ripe for radicalization and has been done all by design. And the reason I'm hopping up and down about reading your quote is on the way home from my sales meeting today, I was listening to a video from Whatist Altist, who he does. Matt Cheatwood introduced me to his channel. He did the one on the Mousetopia and some other things, but he did a video recently that compared modern America to the Weimar Republic right before Mustache Guy took over. Anyway, I'm probably taking us off the rails on the crazy train.
Oh, no, it's okay. That's exactly what we do.
Matt Cheatwood, we are the new Weimar Republic. That's the one I watched or listened to on the way home, and I need to do some thinking about it. I usually love that guy's stuff.
Yep.
But sometimes I have to wrap my head around things, but he did make some good points in it. His point was that the Weimar Republic was basically trying to print money to get out of debt, just like we are. The Weimar Republic was strongly influenced by, just certain people that have ended up strongly influencing our modern culture. So anyway. And his warning is that if that is true, since the Weimar fall led to Mustache Man, it is very possible that our times are also setting up a Mustache Man. And just for the record, I don't think Trump would be a Mustache Man. I know my left-wing friends disagree with that.
I think it could be an amalgamation of a few people coming together and creating.
Yes. I think the people around him and the usual suspects that we often talk about backstage, they could be the next mustache person. Trump himself, I don't think so. He may have some really idiotic tendencies and some bad things about him, but I respectfully to my left-wing friends, I don't see him as Mustache Man. But the people around him, that could be a different story.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm still gonna judge motherfuckers by the company they keep like that.
You're not wrong.
But yeah, I feel even if Trump isn't bad, he's surrounding himself by people who are so sycophant and so kissing his ass that they would do extreme things just to go, look at me. And I'm like, it's concerning. Hold on a second.
Oh, the Weimar Republic. I'm going off the rails on the crazy train. How is America? While she's gone, I'll just look it up. Like the Weimar Republic. I guess I will read some of this article while she is away. This is from, who the heck is this? The FP, foreignpolicy.com. So maybe they know what they're talking about. Maybe they don't. Trump is, that's not wrong either. Trump is the biggest Israel puppet to ever set foot in the White House. That's not wrong, sadly. Mustache Man's first coup attempt failed, but German democracy broke down anyway. Here's how the United States can avoid the same fate. In recent months, Germany's Weimar Republic has been increasingly invoked as an analogy to the present political moment in the United States. Some have described former President Donald Trump's supporters as fascists, while a recent editorial in the New York Times labeled their refusal to accept the legitimacy of Biden's election victory as a modern-day version of the stab-in-the-back myth, the legend that internal enemies caused Germany's defeat in the First World War.
All right, sorry, I'm back. My little kitten had to talk to me. So
okay.
That's cool. He says that Trump is the biggest Israel puppet ever set foot in the White House. I don't know. That's a tough one because that one dude let Kennedy get killed and like kiss their ass afterwards. So I mean,
Johnson.
Lyndon Johnson. Yeah.
Was
he was all like, "Oh, I'll be a great friend to you." And
was it under his presidency or was it under Nixon's that the Liberty was shot?
1967. So that would have
been Johnson.
Yeah, it was still Johnson, and he covered it up. And I think some shit happened under Nixon's as well, and he covered it up as well. But maybe I don't know. Maybe he wasn't covering it as well. Maybe he was tired of covering it. I don't know, because he was sent off. He was told to go bye, and then they just put somebody without electing to put somebody else in his replacement. Nobody really thought about it.
The CIA was not happy. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this to defend Nixon. He did some stupid shit, but yeah, I don't like the CIA deciding who our president is.
Yeah, that's creepy. And they're in partly in charge of the negotiations with Israel and Palestine. I'm like, that's a weird fucking thing. That's like returning to the scene of the crime, kinda. That's weird. That's like starting rumors about two people, making them fight, and then acting like you're the good guy, trying to separate them. Like the fuck.
Frosty B is saying that I guess I'm assuming Trump gave Jared inside access Golan Heights to Israel, which is Syria territory. He has a Trump community named after Jerusalem embassy move.
Oh, wow.
Trump was there as a patsy. So if there's something like the embassy move went wrong, they could blame the nut job in the White House. Interesting.
Oh, the current one in the White House would be a lot easier to blame, which is probably what they're going to do.
Oh, yeah.
They'll just blame him for everything. Because he's too mentally gone. He referred to his vice president as Trump.
Did he?
Oh yeah, let me see if I can find that real quick. Because again, my flapper was gasted. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Let me see.
We've got
I feel like I would have like reshared that. So let me. He also introduced Zelensky as Putin.
Nice.
Oh no, I gotta. I'll show
And the
you.
left-wing media was saying today how masterfully Biden was handling foreign policy.
Let me show you how masterfully he's handling this. Hold on.
Ukraine. So now I want to hand it over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin.
He stopped. He's like,
President Putin. Now I want to hand it over to the president.
That's
fucking
fantastic.
terrific. That's fucking insane. The look on his face, you just see Zelensky free. He's like, what? He didn't know what to say. What can you say to that? Let's see. Maybe it's in this like videos. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah.
Frosty B. Ronk says they're both Israel puppets. They're literally trying to out-Israel one another.
Oh, they are. Here we go.
Your political future has hung over so a little bit. Speaker Pelosi made a point of suggesting that your decision on whether to stay in the race is still on. Clooney, for lawmakers, calling you step aside. Reuters is reporting tonight that you and company leadership is concerned about your ability to win. Deputy just endorsed you. Go ahead. Thank you. How do you incorporate these developments into your decision to stay separately? What concerns do you have about Vice President Harris's ability to be popular if she were to talk? Look, I wouldn't have Vice President she's not qualified. So start. Your political future is
I would not have picked Vice President Trump if I didn't think she was qualified. I'm like,
That's fantastic.
I know. It's fucking
In fact, why don't we just have that? Since everything's all fucked up anyway, why don't we just have a Trump Biden ticket and call it a history?
That's so wild. Oh yeah, so true. They're like, no, I'll suck you off. No, I will. Like, God Almighty. Anyway, now I feel better. I feel like I've depressurized.
Breathe. Remember to breathe.
Biscuits. I can go back to watching my little British or Irish show, Father Brown.
Oh,
very
nice.
good. I like watching
That's
little
cool.
little British mystery stuff. I mean, some are okay, some are kind of but like
Right on.
Sister Boniface it was a terrible burn. I'm not even sure it was a slow burn. Like, it was trying to be a funny, like, fast-paced burn, but it was fucking terrible. Like, I got to about episode 3, I'm like, I can't do this. But no, Father Brown seems like, this might be where it's at. He's giving Jessica Fletcher a little bit, but not in the betray your friends way she'd always do. Like, she'd known them for 30 years. She served them right up to the police like it was nothing. That bitch was a cunt. I don't know. Ever since I was a kid, I was waiting for someone to shoot Jessica Fletcher for that shit. But Father Brown, like, he'll get you to confess, but like in a priesty sort of way, and then just guilt you into confessing. But like, he's not going to actually betray you or your trust. And I'm like, you know what? That's fair.
I want to go ahead.
He's like an ethical Jessica Fletcher. It's kind of cute.
Yes. Father Brown, detective. Yeah, I thought so. So Father Brown was originally was some novels by G.K. Chesterton.
Okay.
And the reason I'm bringing that up is C.S. Lewis was really strongly influenced by the guy.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So anyway, the whole concept was just this guy understood sin so well, and he understood the depravity of human nature so well that it helped him fight crime.
Oh, he would like to know what this. He'd like to know what this link is.
Oh, that is Troy Pacelli. Sorry.
Yeah, because he's like, I don't click blind links. I'm like, I can understand that.
Yeah.
Oh. No. Sorry, it unpauses itself sometimes at random times. Sometimes it'll do it in 5 minutes. Sometimes it'll do it in 5 hours. It's weird. So
I got
anyway,
Well, that's where I'm going after this one, unless
Oh, no,
something.
I feel like I've overdone it for everybody by at least
You're
an
fine.
hour.
You're fine. We have learned things, and that's always good and useful. So
Well, let us send out some love to, of course, Curtis, because he's right here.
thank you
Of
very
course,
much.
the I don't know. I just call him Burr. This is why I call him Burr because I can't pronounce that. And of course, hugs to Night Breeze and to Troy. So scroll down, scroll and scroll and scroll. And of course, I passed. I'm sorry. And of course, the awesome Broccoli. And of course, the lovely, adorable little Kronos, who's a little wild thing, but he's a little sweetie. And of course, Mikey. Lots of hugs to Mikey. He's fabulous. Let's see. Scrolling down. Yeah. And of course, Matt Cheatwood.
Matt Cheatwood, thank you so much.
Yep. Okay, I think I got everybody. Fabulous.
Woo!
Awesome. Woohoo!
Great
We
stream.
had a lot of people in here, but we had dedicated people in here.
We
and
have really smart people in here. I will say that.
We do. We have fabulous people, and I love it. Yes, the accidental friend, but it's fabulous. Love it. Good. But lots of hugs to everybody. I guess I guess we'll do a little outro song. But lots of hugs. Woohoo! Yeah, yeah.
And I'll just salute because I'm like manly and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Welcome to the ship show. Every single day, a new flavor of fuckery. Cause everybody's such, you see, and they're dumber than a bag of clots. Monday, bullshit. Tuesday, bullshit. Wednesday, and then 4 more days of increasingly stupid predicaments, ignorant, boulder dash.